What's up, everybody? We're here 3 weeks in a row for Commentator's Curse. We got sound. We got good sound. We have the blur. I mean, what more do we need? Oh, yeah, Smash 5.
So, this is a historic episode of the Commentator's Curse. There's no other way to put it. We are in a time... We got very lucky that our show was on Thursdays, because today the Nintendo Direct happened and the Smash for Switch news came out. And of course, we actually have some amazing tournaments this weekend. Finally! Like last 2 weeks, we felt like we were stalling. But now we have EGLX and the National Arcadian, two very different type of events. One amateur, one like super pro level going on this weekend. And, you know, we got those going on. We got the this or that segment coming back. People really seem to like it. You know, we got a lot going on. And for the live viewers and for the people at home, we're changing our times up. We're going to probably start going a little bit earlier with this show because the East Coast viewers want it. So, you know, everything's working out. I think the show is in a good path. Tafo's got a new mic. We're all coming together. Smash Brothers has another sequel by the looks of it, and it's rife with speculation.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, initially I was like, okay, like, what are we going to talk about today? I guess EGLX is going on. I didn't really take a look at the list until earlier today. And then Smash out of the blue, like, I think it was really funny that Anti posted on his Twitter. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to sleep because there's no Smash, like, related news. And I'm pretty sure most of us thought the same thing.
I'll admit, I didn't think the same thing. So there's that. But I was still routinely surprised. I'll say this from now on. Right here, from now on, I know no more than everyone else right now. I am literally as much in the dark as anyone else. So every word I say from now, please don't read into it. I am a fanboy at this point. I have just as much credibility as a fan in terms of, is this a port? Is this a real game? I actually don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I wish I knew.
And I think just with like these type of announcements, like, even though we have relationships with Nintendo, like, they're so tight-lipped that like everyone who you think is in the Illuminati for Smash and claims things that aren't a news outlet, like, they're full of crap. Like, if they say they know things, chances are they don't. Like, Nintendo...
The news outlets actually don't know on this one either. Like, no one, even people in that company sometimes don't know. If you're not on the fucking Smash team, you don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I respect that. Things don't leak out of Nintendo. Like, other companies, everything leaks. Things don't leak out of Nintendo. And I know I don't need to know. I'm not on the need to know list. And so, I don't know. So I can just be a fan just like the rest of you guys. And we can talk about it and talk about what's happening, what's going on, what just got dropped today.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't watched and you guys are in this Twitch chat right now, you guys have messed up. You guys have even more messed up if this has gone up on YouTube and you still don't know what we're talking about. If you guys haven't watched it, go watch the trailer, type in Smash 5 on YouTube and watch it.
Yeah, and interestingly, I think first of all, they hit us with a bait and switch. If you guys have seen the trailer, I assume you have. If you haven't watched the trailer and you're watching the VOD right now, pause the VOD, watch the trailer, come back in a minute because we're about to talk about it right now. They definitely hit us with that bait and switch at the beginning, right? They came out with an Inkling, and I'm going to be honest.
Inkling, I see what you did there.
It's actually, I didn't do that on purpose. I'm going to be honest, Apple. They hit us with the Inkling, and I think everyone was like, okay, this is Splatoon news, right? And they put a lot of attention on that. And as someone who was like, I haven't really played Splatoon very much, or actually I haven't played it at all, like, I immediately was like, okay, this is the last thing they're going to show. I'm not like super into it right now. I'm about that Mario Tennis life, you know what I'm saying? And then I think there was a few other scenes, and then you had the Smash Ball in the Inkling's eyes, which, can I just say, was a piece of cinematic genius. Nintendo knows what they're doing, and has now turned into a meme. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait a second, this is not about Splatoon. This is about Smash Brothers. And ever since that point, everyone's been speculating. You know, is this a port? Is this a new game? How the hell is this coming out in 2018? Like, this insanely fast turnaround. You know, we're used to Smash games getting announced and then being released in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
This thing's coming out this year? This year? In this calendar year? Man,
Okay, well, let's talk about what we know here because, obviously it's for the Switch. You can kind of see in the flames at the end of the trailer, a lot of people are like using their magnifying glasses to see who the characters are. At the very least, like characters like Bowser are in the game and Mario and Link, right?
yeah.
So we know that there's some characters you can kind of make out with the silhouette. Um, the, Zelda and Mario looked like their Switch counterparts with the Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
This just in, Zelda and Mario will be in Smash Brothers.
Oh man, confirmed right here on the Commentator's Curse. But they had the Breath of the Wild. They had the Switch look to them. So I guess the big question people are wondering is this a port? Is this Smash 4 Deluxe, or is this a completely new game? And then also Sakurai posted saying that he's been silently involved, but he can't make any official announcements at this given point in time.
So did I say Zelda? I meant Link, but Zelda's going to be in it too. Regardless, there's a lot of good supporting arguments for either case, whether it's going to be a port or a new game. And so what I'd say the supporting arguments for it to be being a port is they definitely spent a lot of time in that trailer, especially at the beginning, on characters that look like they would just be like additional characters to a Smash port, right? Like, why spend that much time on the Inkling, for example, if that's just not a new character for this Switch version? You know what I'm saying? The other supporting argument is this game is coming out this year, right? So much of me, as like on the business level, is thinking like, how are they making this game this fast? Unless they seriously were making this game like under our noses, with and releasing it this year if it's not a port. If it's a port, there's a lot less work you got to do, and so that makes sense. But if they've been working on this for like 3+ years, and this is the first we heard of it, it seems suspicious for it to be a new game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then finally, I think the other reason for a port that you'd expect is that they did the same thing for Pokken. They did the same thing for Mario Kart, and it makes a ton of sense because the Wii U had such a small install base. It was like their least successful console of the last like 2 decades. Like, it's super unsuccessful console. Like, porting Wii U games makes a ton of sense. No one played Wii U games, right? So like, there's a humongous fan base that just never played that generation. That just skipped out on Nintendo for like 4 years, and those guys get to enjoy the games on Switch. So why not just bring it to them? So I think in a lot of ways it makes a ton of sense for it to be a port. But here are why it could not be. The Sakurai tweet, I think, is the best example.
It's the evidence, right? The key piece of evidence we have.
Yeah. Now it's in Japanese, so we have to use a translator's best judgment, but the way he was talking sounded like a new game. You know what I'm saying?
Like, why would he get involved if it was just a port? Like, why would they need his expertise, and why would he need to go like underneath, right? For a port, it's just like, oh, like he doesn't need to be this secretive and work like for a couple years. So it's keep going.
Yeah. So that's also a good point. I could see him working on a port because, I mean, it's not like he didn't work on DLC for Wii U. And if this is adding new characters, I mean, I think he might want to have a hand in that. He probably wants to be able to like have a hand in character development of any new characters in the Smash franchise, which which would make sense. So if it's an enhanced port, that makes a lot of sense. However, it sounded like he was talking about a new game. Second of all, I think it's extremely weird for them to leave this open question on a marketing perspective, and they're quite good at marketing, especially lately. Last year and a half, 2 years, Nintendo's been killing it on such an absurd level that you got to give them credit, right? And in terms of the marketing, you look at it, you're like, would you really come out there and leave this open question whether it's a port or not, and then surprise people with, hey, by the way, it's a port? Like, to me, on a marketing level,
that would be really terrible.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound very smart. So on that, I'm just like, Nintendo, if you did do that, then you made a mistake. Now, they could make a mistake. Like, that could have been what they did, but it just doesn't sound like them, right? It doesn't sound like them to put forward this shiny thing and then disappoint people. Because truth is, we would have been hype about a port. Like, we would have been hype anyway. Like, we're just happy. So it's not like the news of a port would have been received poorly. But the only way it gets received poorly is if you put it out there like it's a new game, and then you backtrack and say it's a port. By the way, guys,
It's
I think they would have told people by now if it's a port. Is the honest truth.
yeah. It'd be funny if the game was just Melee with UCF implemented in it.
Yeah, that one's no. The Inklings are not in Melee, guys. I want to let you guys know that those characters are going to be in the game, and they're not in Melee.
Some people pointed out, by the way, that what was it? Namco wasn't really mentioned, but HAL Laboratories was, and Namco was in the development of Smash 4. So I think that's another good piece of evidence to me that it is a new game. So I guess in terms of verdict on this rumor itself, I'm going to personally say it's a new game. What do you think, Blur?
I think it's a new game, and like the reason I say that is almost entirely because of that Sakurai tweet. I think, hey, you never know. They could have made a mistake and they could have gone back, but I just think it's straight foolish for them to not tell people it's a port where it's a port. Like, when have they done that? They've never done that, right? Like, they are making ports. Like, there are definitive editions, like with Hyrule Warriors, coming out. They are doing ports right now, right? But they tell you. What port has Nintendo released and not told you it's a port? Like the Luigi's Mansion 3DS one. They tell you it's a port. Like, they're very upfront about it. Why would they make a port but not tell you it's a port? Right? Like, they would tell you.
Yeah, it breaks the pattern of like what they did with Undertale, the South Park game, and all that stuff. So it just doesn't fit the pattern here.
Yeah, literally every other port in that release was called a port. It literally said that, and they were very clear about that. So, from my perspective, it seems like a new game. And the best news of all for us as like people who try to grow the scene is it comes out this year. I know, for a lot of people, like, enjoy the hype cycle and they love the speculation. Is Ridley and Smash Brothers? I personally am so fed up with that stuff. That when we have to go through that extended 3-year cycle. But in this case, it looks like they're going for a leaner market plan. They're putting out bangers. I mean, it kind of makes some sense because how long before their release were Odyssey and Zelda even announced? You know what I'm saying? I think this just might be a new Nintendo. They might just have shorter marketing cycles. Because honestly, I think that works. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's better. Like, why has it got to be 3 years? It doesn't need to be.
Maybe it is 3 years. Maybe, when Smash 4 got released, they had the Switch development kits and they said, hey, we're going to probably make a Smash for Switch. Let's start having a team. And maybe Sakurai took a 1 to 2 year Sabbath off of it. And then he got into the team and Nintendo said, well, in 2014 to 2016, we're going to work on some of this stuff that we don't need you for. And in 2016 to 2018, we were going to really have you do some heavy lifting. I mean, there's so many possibilities here.
Yeah. I think like people are saying, Odyssey was announced in January of the same year it was released, right? That's not so different than what we're doing right now. Like, in the scenario where it gets released in November or December around holiday season, it being announced in March early March is not really that weird, I guess. In terms of new Nintendo. Old Nintendo, they would put this out there way earlier just to get people to buy systems and like really invest into it. But new Nintendo is not about that, So I actually think that helps support the new game argument. And I really think they would have told us it was a port if it was a port. Just on Nintendo like to not do that. And as a community, it's extremely critical that they're not putting us through this, because here's what happens. When they announce a new game and we wait 2-3 years for it, the new game scene, I'm talking about the Wii U and the Brawl scene and the new Smash 5 scene, it dies in that time, right? Because the truth is like, what's your incentive to get better if you know the game is going to be dead in a couple of years or in a year or when the new game is released, right? Like, I fully expect the Wii U scene to, if it is a new game, right? If it's not a new game, it won't get affected by this. If it's a port, it won't get affected by this. But if Smash 5 is a new game, I fully expect for the next few months the Wii U seek to kind of diminish or languish or decline slightly, right? But it'll only be like 6-7 months of decline, right? It won't be 3 years of waiting while that scene declines because no new people are coming in because they're waiting for the next Smash game. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm super happy that if it's a new game, they're giving us a short announce window, because when it's 2-3 years of decline, it really hurts that scene. And I'm happy we don't have to deal with that this time.
I think if we were to take a step back, like Nintendo is destroying the market with the Switch, like in a good way. Like they're firing on all cylinders. You look at their library, you look at how sleek the system is, and it seems like with the Wii U, you kind of struggle like on what game you buy. It's like, oh, like I'm buying this for Smash and maybe Mario Kart 8 and a few games, but like nonstop, like Nintendo's doing an incredible job with the Switch. Like I'm like actually really impressed that they keep churning out AAA titles and they're like getting third-party support on the system.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Nintendo's got its groove back, and boy, is it a welcome addition. Like, I honestly played a ton of less Nintendo games during the Wii U era. I much less. I played my 3DS far more than my Wii U. I barely played the Wii U. I have one, Prague. I bought one off Prague. Actually, I have the Zelda version. But the Wii U like pretty much collected dust for me, and I played a ton of 3DS games, so I still was going hard. And the Wii, I also was I played a bit, but for me, like the GameCube, N64, Super Nintendo era, like the amount of games I played in that era was so much more for me as a type of gamer. And the Switch is coming out with bangers on such a consistent basis. It feels like they're back, and boy, does it feel good, right? There's so much in me that I think during the era where Nintendo was, not really making games for people like me, there was so much during that time that I thought that maybe as I'm getting older, maybe I'm just not into like casual games anymore. Maybe I just like esports now, or as I've grown older, maybe I just don't like those types of, I'm not as much of a one-player gamer anymore, right? There was a point in my life where I thought that, but it's actually not true. They just weren't putting as good of games as they are now.
Yeah,
that's all that happened.
Well, I mean,
I'm just as much of a gamer as before, but they didn't put any good games as good as Metroid Prime out in those fucking 8 years. They just didn't.
I also think it's just the convenience factor too. That's just a huge thing. Like when I think of the Wii U, it's just like, oh, I have to charge in that stupid tablet thing. Like I have to plug it into a TV, and it just felt so cluttery. Whereas like with the Switch, it's like, oh, like yeah, I can play the Switch right now.
Yeah. So Switch is freaking amazing.
And
the game, dude, Switch tournaments. Y'all realize the system is portable? Do y'all realize that? Y'all realize that? Like people are talking about, oh man, it's gonna be so hard. We're gonna have to have Switches and shit. I'm like, bro, people can just bring Switches. Did you see the Switch release trailers? People will just bring their Switches and they'll play against each other. Oh, there's not enough setups in the venue? Just play on your Switch and have someone sync their controller up to yours. Hello? Right? Like, you guys know what the Switch is? It's a handheld. A true handheld. You can play on it.
Dude, TOs can literally just put like 30 tables up. Like for card game tournaments, like they just have empty tables. Like if you want like a friendly station, it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have tables and chairs for you. Just put your Switch here and play with your friends.
Now let me tell you, the most underrated and overlooked news of the Direct, that is also insanely exciting. Let me tell you the thing that got me most excited during the Direct.
Power shots in Mario Tennis.
That's motion control. That was kind of like. I'm a simple mode guy.
Okay. What?
Yo, see my chain chomp though. I'm gonna chain chomp as a character is hilarious. How does he hold a racket? Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
I'm super into that game. The thing that got me crazy about it, and that people aren't noticing right now about this Direct, chat, you will not guess what I'm about to say. Mario Tennis is a tournament mode? Yo, listen to me, guys. I know this is a Smash podcast, but Mario Tennis has a tournament mode? That has widespread implications for every Nintendo game from now on. The programming you need to do to make a functioning tournament online mode, like an online tournament mode that you can just go and play tournaments on, can be ported from game to game. That is not like unique code that can't be in, for example, a Smash game or ARMS or anything else. Like, you guys, I mean, I feel like so many developers over the years have promised tournament modes in their games. Like the Hearthstone guys have been promising tournament mode in Hearthstone for like 3 years, right? We've literally heard about this by so many developers for so many years. And these guys are actually, I feel like they're going to do it. They're putting it out on release. Like, that's literally what they advertise, right? And it's a killer app feature. So I used to play Guild Wars, right? That was a game I was professional at in whatever capacity you can be professional in that. Point is, I was the top guild, right? That game, near the second half of its lifespan, was one of the only games I know of that had a true tournament mode. It had automated tournaments. What that means is, at designated times of the day, automated, repeat, automated, you can just enter tournaments. Like, the game just has tournaments, and you go in and you play in tournaments with you and your crew. It's so much more fun than grinding ladder. Playing in like automated tournament systems for me is just comically more fun than just grinding for ladder points on traditional matchmaking systems. It's like so much better. So the fact that they're making a true tournament mode, which by the way is an esports feature, in another game, tells me that they could put that in Smash. And they could put that in ARMS. They could put that in all their games. They could put that in Splatoon. That's got a ton of potential, guys. Like, straight up. Tournament mode? Other, like, PC games don't have that. And that's a genuinely really good feature.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the difference between playing arena mode and, like, arena mode in Hearthstone and playing ladder. Like, ladder gets kind of boring after a while, but arena is always really cool. I think the other point we have to add is that this is like really timely for us as a community because okay, so Smash 4, was a new game on the block in 2014. Everybody got hyped and everybody started playing it because it was like it's Smash and it's a new game. But if you look in the past year, especially in 2017, it's lost momentum. It's not the new game on the block. People play other games like Fortnite and other stuff. Like, the non-hardcore Smash players have moved on to other games, and I feel like this is just a really good time for us, where Smash 4 kind of has lost some of its fan base, for those people to come back that aren't naturally full-time Smash players.
I want to get on your point because what you're saying is fantastic. I want to clarify, Wii U did have an online tournament mode, but the graphics that they showed for Power Tennis looked more in depth. The online tournament mode for Wii U, who used that, right? No one used that. The Power Tennis one looks cooler, is my point. If it's a good one. You get what I'm saying, guys? The fact that they're trying and iterating on an online tournament mode is a really good sign because a lot of developers don't even dare to because it's usually really hard to build out. So, guys, I know Wii U has a tournament mode. It basically doesn't, though, because no one uses it. Anyway, what you were saying is the timing. The timing.
Yeah.
The timing is key. As you know, on this show, we sat here and talked about, yeah, we're plateauing. Fact of the matter is we're plateauing, and it's even worse for Wii U, the Wii U scene, because they were kind of in a spiral. They were not in a good shape. In fact, it's hard not to say they were in heavy decline. There's just facts, literally facts, right? Like, no subjectivity. The Wii U scene is not in a good spot.
And I have to caveat here by also saying that even if they just got a port of Smash 4 on the Switch, that is so much better than having to bring a Wii U, a system that no one plays, and like it's not going to get new people into the scene. Like, the Wii U is such a bad system that like new players aren't going to go get a Wii U and be like, oh yeah, like I want to play Smash 4. But now it's like, I have a Switch, but Smash 4's like, let's say it was a port. It's like, Smash 4's coming out. Yeah, I'll get that. And it's amazing. Anyway, I totally interrupted you.
So the importance of this timing is that we have done, in my opinion, an incredible job of slowing the decline of the Wii U scene. For years, right? 4 years straight, the scene started out really high, and the truth is that ever since release, the Wii U scene has been going under small, slight decline. But honestly, not that fast a decline. And in so many ways, the best event in Wii U history was last year. I think Civil War was the best event that scene's ever had, potentially, right? So, and Frostbite last year was also really good. So it had a lot of really good highlights as a scene, and we put a lot of effort to make sure that scene stayed good and relevant, and we didn't lose the new players that we got after the game's release, right?
Yeah.
However, the scene was running on fumes, right? And it was having a hard time maintaining momentum, and it was surely not in a spot where it looked like it could turn into growth. Rather, most of the strategy for Wii U was how to stave off decline, right? How to make sure our decline isn't as bad as it could be, right? Meanwhile, Melee is the growth sector, right? We know this. This is just generally how the Smash Brothers ecosystem works, and has worked for the last, ever since Brawl. It's the new game community, which the Smash 5 Wii U Brawl community, grows exponentially upon release of a new game, and then slowly tapers and declines as time goes on. I'd love to turn it into growth somehow if they could grow too, but usually that happens, right? They have massive spikes because of new game releases. Meanwhile, what Melee does, and Melee strategy often is it take a lot of the new players that the new releases come out with and slowly added and integrated into the Melee scene, right? So Melee usually just goes and has a very steady, healthy, small decline. Melee is all about gaining 4% a year.
It's your mutual fund.
It's your fucking mutual fund, man. We make sure we get that 4%. And you know what? You start adding that up over 15 years. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a lot. That's a lot of percent, right? And so that's our strategy. But we rely on the new games to bring in people, because the truth is and this is my honest opinion, if these new games didn't exist, Melee would be in a horrible spot, right? Because as much as we talk about Evo 2013, the documentary, all that stuff, bruh, Wii U coming out in 2014 was as much or more of a factor than all of it, right? Keep in mind that the Evo 2013 and the documentary were during Wii U's announcement period, right? So people's eyes were on Smash Brothers. Keep in mind, Apex 2015 was right after Wii U's release, right? A lot of the key, very important moments that led to Melee's rise came because the new game scene brought a lot of interest into competitive Smash Brothers and Smash Brothers in general, which Melee fed off of. So, if you're a Melee fan, and I know Fendi had a horrible tweet earlier that everyone jumped on, but I like his concern. This news is amazing for us. This news is amazing for the Melee scene. It's amazing for the Wii U scene. It's amazing for everyone. Literally, this is just winning. This is how you win, guys. Right now, I just saw people from every esports scene. We're trending on Twitter. Everyone is talking about Smash Brothers. People are talking about competitive Smash Brothers. We got guys like James Bardoff, right? A Counter-Strike commentator talking about playing Smash Brothers again. We got Ben Brode, the lead designer of Hearthstone, saying, "Hey, can I take a year off just to play Smash?" This is important, right? High-level influencers are paying attention. The general populace is paying attention to Smash Brothers again. In a time where, frankly, our storylines kind of stagnated and the reasons to watch kind of stagnated, while things like Overwatch League, things like Rocket League Champion Circuit, things like the Rainbow Six growth has been happening and kind of usurping our own growth, right? We don't necessarily, we can plateau, but other things can pass us up, right? So this happening at this time is amazing for us.
Yeah.
The timing is really what's important. And also, on top of the timing, you have the timing plus the fact that it releases this year, right? So we don't have to drag out the timing. So we can take full advantage of the growth that we need right now, in this very critical time this year. That's awesome for us. Again, this is what winning looks like. This was amazing for us from all counts.
So I think it's really amazing because we were trending on Twitter. I believe at one point, 4 threads on Reddit all were Smash 4 or Smash 5 related. So it's we kind of forget, right? We have this niche community, but we're maybe 1% of the overall population that plays Smash. I would say is 1% even generous.
Um, who knows? The honest truth is, I don't like to shortchange this because we are a very large community. So I never like to say we're less than we
Okay,
are.
okay,
But
let's.
but the number of people who are interested in Smash Brothers clearly outclipses the people who go to tournaments.
I'm saying this in more of a potential for growth kind of thing, right? Biggest events of the year probably get 4,000 Smash fans, but like we get millions of people that purchase Smash. Like it's in the tens of millions. Like imagine like if we could somehow funnel in the tens of millions of players to watch Smash or even play Smash competitively.
Yeah, and that's what we do. Like these new releases are not coincident. Don't like. I know people look at Brawl as like this horrible, terrible thing, but our scene grew massively at Brawl's release. Yes, our total scene grew massively at Brawl's release. Sure, Melee went through a tough year or two, right? But the overall Smash scene did grow. Like the Brawl plus Melee scene, the combined Brawl plus Melee scene was bigger after Brawl's release in 08-09 than it was in 07-06, right? The difference was Brawl was like 75+% of the scene and Melee was 25% of the scene. It took Melee a little bit of time to catch up and truly establish itself as a consistent pillar in the scene and really create this perpetual and awesome two like community divide mutual system that we got going on, right? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
So even with Brawl, like the new game release really gave us a boon, right? And then Wii U, massive boon, right? Huge boon to the scene. It's like we just added like thousands of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Some of them went on to play Melee. Some of them didn't. But point is, they're interested in competitive Smash Brothers. And I'm sure that even some of the ones that didn't go and play Melee definitely watch. You know, like they're familiar. They know who Mango is. They know who Tafflekits is, and they're part of the ecosystem. And they're new users that we're gaining through this, right? A new game release is incredible, especially considering the timing. I
have to also mention that we wouldn't have gone Juggle Guy without Brawl.
True.
Yeah,
Juggle Guy's a Brawl player.
There are a lot of people that are in Melee leadership now, or in Smash leadership, that came from Brawl, and so for a lot of people who are like complaining, "Well, this new game's gonna suck. It's not Melee. I can't believe Melee is even associated with these games." That's so short-sighted and small-minded because like one of our biggest funnels to Melee is other Smash games. Now, I want to kind of change topics because, you know, Melee 64 and Brawl, esports, you know, existed, but it wasn't on Nintendo's radar. With Wii U in 2014, we had the Invitational tournament, and Nintendo, I think, was kind of aware that competitive Melee or competitive Smash is, you know, a thing kind of worth checking out, so they kind of dipped their feet into it. But now in 2018, it's been 4 years. They've explored esports, and I'm sure they're thinking about it a bit more. I'm kind of wondering like how it's going to play a role like this time around. Now that they've had their feet wet.
Yeah, it's very hard to know. I think like them just being the developer and making the game is really all I ever ask. But you know, like they announced during the direct, and this is during a direct, their biggest marketing push, where they try to keep those announcements lean. They literally announce new games in 30 seconds. That's how Nintendo rolls. They put it out there, they drop the news, and they go to the next thing, right? They spent a solid 30 seconds talking about an ARMS tournament, right? It is not easy within that company to get 30 seconds into the direct, you know? So it must be important to them, right? And so they have an online ARMS tournament that like they're going to have the finals at Nintendo HQ, like all that. And they put legitimate time on the direct talking about that, right? That might happen for this new game. That could be really cool. I'm not holding my breath. If it happens, cool. Could be really cool. That's awesome. But you know, now that they have Nintendo Versus, I absolutely think that whatever support they gave the Wii U version upon release during their marketing cycle, I expect that much and more with this. You know, so could be cool. And you know what? The Invitational is still one of the highest peaks we've ever had in terms of viewership as a competitive scene, right? Sure, the format wasn't exactly competitive, but
Hey, Hugo made it to finals without winning a single game.
yeah, but it creates some memes, it creates some buzz. It had genuine competitive smashers in it, so it helped build their brands. And what did it peak at? Like 250K? Like how often in Smash history have we gotten that? Very few times. So actually, I think it's probably our highest peak, right? Too. Our
Easily,
Evo peak was,
easily.
yeah. So it's probably the highest peak also. So I'm happy to have more stuff like that, right? Like if it brings more people in. So absolutely, I'd love it if they do that. Now they might not do something as big as the Smash Invitational. Like they might do like maybe like what Arms had at E3, for example,
Oh God, don't remind me of that.
which was still good. Like that was good.
No,
That
no,
was still fun.
it's because I was in it and I got destroyed.
Oh, you got body. Yeah, that's true. But look, hey, we'll take it. Truth is, we're gonna support our scenes. We're gonna do great, and we're gonna do fine. But we'll definitely take the support. And again, another potential opportunity to grow the scene. You got to be happy about it.
There's one thing I want to point out here. Bringing parallels to Marvel, where it seems like the Marvel versus Capcom crossover series kind of struggled in the later years because the licensing agreements with the Disney Marvel characters kind of put a damper on them in terms of selling the game and maybe even broadcasting this year. I've heard rumors of that for Marvel in 2018, that was part of the reason why Infinity is kind of dying off. The older Melee Brawl, have, IP. And so I'm kind of wondering, with esports and streaming becoming more prominent, how they're, maybe if they negotiate better contracts with the individual characters and, songs and stages, like how that's going to play a role. I hope that this time around that they're better equipped to give people rights to, because I heard that it's like a common problem for Nintendo. A lot of people blame Nintendo, but in reality, there's so many different IPs at hand that work, and they don't initially negotiate stream rights on those characters. So I'm hoping that Nintendo wises up here and says, like, hey, like, we may use your characters for streaming down the road. Is that okay? Can we have blanket rights? What do you think about this?
Yeah, again, it's clear to me that they're thinking about esports to a great degree. Obviously, not to the degree like a Blizzard is and putting that kind of investment. Not yet, at least. Who knows? One day. But it's a consideration. They're putting tournament modes in. They're talking about online matchmaking and improving that with like the Rank X thing and Splatoon. There's Splatoon tournaments that get genuine support out there, right? Like whether it's consoles and stuff like that. So, sure. We always talk about how we don't feel that level of support because it's true. We genuinely the Smash scene hasn't gotten much. Of course, the Melee scene even less so. But what are you gonna do? They're your publisher.
Yeah.
End of the day, you need them. Like there's no way around it, guys. You can be resentful and hate it all you want, but end of the day, you need them. They make the game. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool if they're more participatory, if they're more part of it all. We definitely would appreciate the support and help.
So, before we change topics, we can have a 2018 that rivals how great Melee was in 2014. We started off the year with Plup winning. Maybe the documentary comes out. This new Smash game comes out, brings in more people. PPMD comes back. Mango 3-Bows. Like this could be like one of the best years of Melee. I'm really excited.
This is so I'll admit to you guys, we talked about how February was crazy week. It was one of the worst months in modern Smash. As in post 2013, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a worse month than February of 2018. I'm not happy about it. I wasn't happy about it at the time, but we couldn't get anyone to host an event, right? That was the problem, right? And we were alluding into it, like for months we were talking about, hey, the biggest weakness the Smash scene has is never are people interested in Smash Brothers. Because as you can see by the vibrant chat that we have, people love Smash Brothers, people want to attend events, and honestly, you can go out on the street and scream Smash Brothers and tournament, and you're gonna have a crowd of 30 piled up, ready to sign up. People are gonna love it, right? The harder thing, of course, is get the tournament organizers to organize, and I think a new game and potentially more business interest because of the latent potential of a new game is going to also incentivize a lot of people to invest into the scene again. If
I had money, you know what I would do? I would go to like every bar that's open and say, can we put a couple Switch setups and advertisements for tournaments here?
Bruh, you know how easy it is going to be for this game to be at venues? Do you even need to reserve the venue? What if you and a bunch of friends just show up with your Switches and play? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it could just be gatherings. Like, sure, like maybe for bigger scenes you need to do more formal stuff, but the Switch is crazy. You don't even need to be inside, right? Like, you could just meet up at a park, brother. Like, it's the Switch. Everyone can just bring their own system. It just works. Now, I just feel like the Switch, and when the Switch was announced, I was thinking about, I feel like the Switch is genuinely game changer in terms of tournament logistics. I know everyone's gonna be like, we want to play on lagless LCDs and blah blah blah, but I think for the most part, assuming the game isn't that far different from Smash 4 in some respects, as in the game engine philosophy is roughly the same, I think people will put up with imperfect conditions for that convenience, especially for practice, just to practice. You know, why not? And I think it's going to be a genuine way to play.
I'm going to be really excited if they implement like DLC with skins and stuff, and because then that means we can have like a sustainable tournament model where everybody wins. Like, you can sell skins and do all that stuff and provide a revenue source for Nintendo to keep funneling back into us, and then we can keep reinvesting back into Nintendo, and Nintendo can reinvest into us. So I'm hoping that they do something like that.
I mean, that's asking a lot. We'll see. That hasn't really been Nintendo's MO, but you never know. What if this is the time?
Hopefully, that'd be the dream. But yeah, I don't know how big the Japanese market is on selling skins. Like, I know in Korea it's pretty nice, but I'm not really familiar with the Japanese market. I had another thought. So how many GameCube controllers are you going to buy if they re-release them? I'm buying 100.
So that's the big question. One worry I have is, what if they don't reprint them? Because the Pro controller is pretty good, and what if they want to finally wean people off GameCube controllers, like, once and for all, with this iteration, right? Realistically, again, we're assuming it's not a port. If it's a port, they're going to print more, realistically, right? So that's one reason to root for a port in a way. But if it's a new release, like, they not necessarily are going to print more, right? It's not guaranteed, but it'd be nice. We would be happy, and there's definitely a lot of people who don't want to play Smash Brothers or anything but a gaming controller, and I hope they know that. Like, even casuals, it's just the game controller is the Smash Brothers controller. I think a lot of people think like that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because people like are like, oh, like only like elitist, like competitive Fox only players want GameCube controllers, but you talk to like random like players, you bring like Smash to like a random party, right? Like, we're like, like a normal college party, they're going to be like, no, I don't want to play with the Wiimote. I don't want to play with the Pro controller. Give me the GameCube controller.
So people are talking about how you can use a GameCube controller adapter on the Switch, and that's true. The Wii U adapter works on that. I remember though, Reggie put out a quote which basically said something along the lines, and please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. This is off memory. Something along the lines of like, that was like an accident that just kind of worked. Like, the system, the adapter worked. It's not necessarily something they intended. Maybe that was his way of like, not trying to hint at a new Smash game. So maybe it wasn't by accident. But regardless, it can work, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to print more, right? They'd be like, oh, the people who wanted the adapter already have it. We're not going to go and ask our factory to do more. I hope that's not the case, but obviously we'd love it if they made more.
Yeah. I'm gonna bet they are. And I think
they are. I think there's no reason not to. It's free money, right? Like, people are going to buy these controllers. People are going to buy these adapters for the new Smash. Like, if the adapter works on the system, you're probably going to allow GameCube controllers to be compatible at the very least with the game. Like, it's not like, I'd hope you can play on a GameCube controller, right? And it'll be supported in like the settings menu. And if that's the case, you might as well sell some more, right?
And I don't know what the lag is on Mario Kart, but like, I feel like online tournaments, I mean, we have net play. I feel like that could actually be a thing with this. And if they have a spectator mode, like, imagine the possibilities of like having ad hoc online tournaments and then having casters from like a random studio casting or commentating. I'm like just excited about all the possibilities. I'm probably gonna end up being disappointed, but let a man be excited right now.
No, I am super excited from a community growth perspective. Obviously, I'm going to play the game too. I like Smash Brothers. I thought Wii U, still to say to this day, Wii U was my second favorite Smash Brothers game. I think it's straight up the second best Smash game ever made. Personal opinion. Everyone's got their favorites, right? But, you know, I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to experience it for sure. Obviously, my heart's going to be with Melee basically till the day I die. It's not even a matter of game quality anymore. It's just like, it's literally my blood. It's changed my life. So
what if
just how it is.
What if they had an unlockable Melee HD mode in the game?
Don't tease me like that, Tyler.
Like, but the condition was that like there's no way to like hack it, but you had to play like 10,000 hours of whatever the Smash 5 game is to unlock Melee HD mode.
Home, I want to diverge off the Melee HD topic because I like to talk about relevant things in a relevant time.
Okay. I'm getting a little out there.
Hall Monitor says community growth equals more money for these peeps. Dog, I'm gonna get paid my Twitch salary no matter what. Get out of here. Like what? What's Tavo? You think Tavo's in it for the money? Can we ban Hall Monitor? We're just interested in community growth. We've been doing this for 15 years. What more do we need to prove? God damn.
We've made negative money on Smash in the 15 years.
What the heck, dude?
Dude, maybe Blur could actually hire a staff team if at Twitch, and we'd get better events. No offense to Blur, but having more people and more resources is only a good thing, man.
Come on, Hall Monitor. Come on. I hope you guys just timed him out.
I hope that our Twitch monitors ban the Hall Monitor because Twitch is better than your halls. Get wrecked.
We're just trying to get new people to play Smash Brothers, bro. Like that's all I'm trying to say. There's no ulterior motives. We just love Smash Brothers and we're happy new people. This is great news. This is great news for everybody.
Dude, man, some people are saying I play Puzzle Fighter for the revenue. Man, I've spent so much money in the game that, like, I'm so negative on Puzzle Fighter. Please don't even mention that. I hate mobile apps. They're addicting and they drain your wallets. All right, it's like, we've talked about this topic. We could probably talk all night, but how about we talk about some Melee tournaments this weekend?
Sure.
All right. Unless you want to.
Is there anything more we need to say about this? Because I mean, obviously, it's massive news. It is news that is going to form and shape the community. I've got to redo my whole strategies. I got to do a lot of rethinking about, you know, Smash plans and what it means. Because honestly, this throws a wrench in.
Okay. Okay. Here's the first great idea. We're gonna create template business cards that people within their local scenes can put a web URL saying this is a competitive scene. So when they go out and they play their Switch outside, or they go to a bar, or they're playing at a random park, and people are like, whoa, like, you guys play Smash? Of course we do. Here is a Facebook group that's listed on this business card. You can join that, and if you want to play other people, that's the group to go to. Imagine the growth opportunity from that. That's my one contribution.
That's a good idea. Another thing I want to point out that I just realized right now is the freaking gold rush from TOs to like take November and December dates, because we're assuming it's going to be a holiday release date, is probably going to hit me tomorrow morning. Like I strongly suspect people are going to pull out the scumbag tactics to take those weekends. Because those weekends, you know, people are like, I don't want to be in December. That's around Christmas time. But now?
Hey, yo, Blur.
People aren't going to take up December. You're going to see some people do some grimy stuff for December days. Let me tell you that. There's going to be some grime, true grime.
Hey, Blur, I'm going to give you, hey, Blur, here's some money.
Oh, people are going to be slipping some money into the Blur's pocket. So you're right, Hall Monitor. I'm going to make some bank.
You're going
to want December, bro.
No, you're going to get a lot of steak dinners.
I'm going to get some steak dinners. They're going to take me out. They're going to wine and dine the Blur. But I can't be bought.
I can buy you.
Maybe, dude. Everyone's got a price.
Everybody does. For those people who are going to watch this thing, man, Blur's so immoral. I bet you have a price for whatever.
You know? Just, you know what? Isn't it fair? Isn't that capitalism? Best offer wins.
Man, don't park on
You
the
know?
grass's stock instantly rose if they're also
Oh
running.
my goodness, they're gonna get booked over, dude. I'm sorry, Aiden. Someone is going to screw you, Aiden. Someone is going to destroy you, Aiden. Oh my jeez.
I'm so sorry. Dude, if it holds, I'll be so happy for them. But imagine if like one
Yeah.
tournament's like, yeah, we're like the big event. We're gonna throw in a $50,000 prize pot. Like it's gonna be at an NBA basketball stadium.
Yeah, yeah. In Utah.
Oh no, it's gonna be where the Supersonics played, just as a double FU to all the Washington Seattle fans. We're gonna run it at Keystone Arena.
So stay tuned for that, for the Grime Wars for November and December. I'm actually quite looking forward to it. And hey, good news. Hey, good news, guys. This year we had a horrible February. I guarantee you we won't have a horrible February next year because early 2019 is going to be stacked. Just telling you that right now. Early 2019, I have emails about it already. I've been trying to hold it off, but now people are going to actually fight over it starting now. I won't be. People are going to start wilding out.
And then Practical TES and I are going to work on stats for this new game and start the infrastructure. Let's go. We're going to have integrated stats. They're probably not going to release an API because they haven't thought that ahead, but we're going to get on that.
Yeah. So gonna be crazy. So let's move off this topic. Obviously, a very interesting topic. There will be Q&A at the end, guys. We have a lot to run through. We want to talk about EGLX and National Arcadian because not lost in this, a large portion of the reason we're so hyped is because this is going to help Melee immensely as well. And last I checked, Melee is the greatest game of all time. Last I checked, Plup just won Genesis. And if you haven't noticed, EGLX stacked as all heck, and it gives us another opportunity to see Plup and Hungrybox.
Well, they actually just played like this week.
Yeah, that's a local. It's not the same thing. This is a non-local. Now, at the same time, I think many locals are advertised and promoted better than this event. I think the EGLX team is doing a historically bad job. I don't think there's been a TO in my experience who's done as bad of a job promoting their event as the EGLX team. I don't think that's happened before. And I say this at rooting for them. I'd love them to do a better job. But straight up, what the heck? To like do something to promote your event. I don't know. Do anything. Tweet about it at least. Jesus Christ. But it's our job then to fill in the gap for them because truth is the tournament's stacked. It's gonna be well produced. We know that. It's gonna be dope. We've been starving for events throughout this February. We're finally getting saved out of it, and we're gonna have some really good Melee.
Yeah, I mean, this is a message to all the TOs that want that don't want to go on the off-season month. Like, if you are the only tournament within a month span, you're by default going to get like half the top players, right?
Yeah. I do not think February or whatever is going to be as free next year because of new release. But this year, I mean, obviously, we've been seeing Full Bloom. You guys know Full Bloom's in Indiana?
Yeah, I do.
This little tournament in Indiana with a venue that's honestly not that big and is hosted by a Smash Club is now like our effectively super major of this quarter. Why? Because they took March like geniuses. And also, you know, good guy, Louis. Louis does good work.
Yeah.
And they do good events. It's fine. But the point is they were the underdogs and they did it because they took an open time slot and they killed it with that open time slot. So shout out to them. And EGLX also in a great time slot, significantly worse promotion. But either way, they still got the players because the players have nothing else to go to.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about the event then.
All right, let's talk about it. We got hella players going. What is it? Smash.gg/EGLX?
EGLX / 2018 Smash.
What? All right. I'm just going to not rage internally, and we're going to keep going.
All right. Melee Devils is going to be interesting. We have two of the top 3 to 4 teams with Plup2 King and SFAT and PPU.
Yeah, doubles is sick. Shouts doubles. I'm gonna say this, okay? I blame myself.
Yeah.
I blame myself. Last year, early last year for Q1, Q2 last year, partly because of the Fuse circuit, but mostly because Blur was commentating every doubles finals and was doing such a goddamn good job that it got people really invested and excited about doubles. Doubles was so hype, like in the first half of last year, and so much of that momentum died. You know, Ice and Leffen weren't as they stopped teaming with each other. Some of that storyline went away. Blur stopped commentating, mostly that one, and also Fuse didn't really do a real circuit for the second quarter. So a lot of doubles momentum died. I'd really like to start. We should on this show, as the people who make the storylines for Smash, or at least we try. We should talk about doubles a little more often because it was so sick the first half of last year, how much attention and how much effort was put into doubles, and I think it was really good for the game.
Yeah. I mean, I lived up to my end of the bargain. I did the top 10 teams of 2017. What are you looking at, Blur? Who has caught your eye on the Twitch chat?
Primal TS is talking about how well they did with local advertising. EGLX has, and how I'm wrong about their promotional capabilities and blah blah blah. And all right, man, you can be an apologist all you want. Maybe you're right. If they surprise me, that'd be great. Personally, I don't think their local advertising could have been that great if they only got 370 freaking attendance. You think 370 attendance is impressive? That's what I got for SSSs. Like, come on, Toronto's a big scene. 370 is not that impressive. City without prize pool. So you can't tell me their local advertising that good. But that's me beefing. I'm not trying to hate on them.
He's Canadian.
We're trying to promote their. He's Canadian. He's being an apologist. That's cool. That's what kind of what Canadians do sometimes. I get it, but not impressed. We could do better. Anyway, let's talk about this double sword.
It's kind of funny because you have a lot of like good players and they're swapping partners. They're swinging. Other than Pleptuking and I guess Axe Amsa and PewFat, we have a lot of combinations we really haven't seen that much of. KGH and Duck, Ice and La Luna. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Ice for the Red Bull athlete sponsorship.
Yeah, good for him. Didn't that kind of come out of nowhere? Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I heard rumors that it was going to be another player that was going to get picked up by Red Bull, but yeah, that was really left field. I think what actually happened, if I want to, kind of elaborate, I believe Red Bull couldn't support TSM directly anymore because of the conflict of interest, because Red Bull wants to start a league team. So I'm not sure if Leffen is still a Red Bull athlete at this point because he's TSM.
He is not.
Yeah, and that's because of the conflict of interest that Riot has, where you can't potentially own a team and also sponsor other teams. So sorry, Leffen. So let's see. The top 8 looks decently interesting, and then there's a couple of obvious favorites, and then there's some like teams that could do decently. So I guess the interesting point icing the bracket is Crush and Swedish Delight versus La Luna and Ice.
I think those are sleeper teams.
Yeah.
Moon, pretty good in doubles. Ice, very good at doubles. Crush is Swedish. Crush doesn't really have the results from doubles, but I mean, feels like he's never really had the opportunity with the great partners. And Swedish has had some surprising results in this time, right? Remember Swedish locks? So totally, I think that set's going to be great. I think Moon and Ice are favored, but we don't know what kind of shape Ice is in, so I might be wrong, right? Like Ice might not be ready for that kind of fight yet, because who knows? But I also think he'll be fine, mostly because Ice has actually always been the type that doesn't really practice. He just kind of thinks and is like all cool, calm, and connected, and he does his Ice thing, almost PP like in that sense. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's still a really good player, really clean. I mean, I think this also brings like a newfound motivation to him because I think last year he was a little bit down on himself, and I think the Red Bull sponsorship gives like his career as a Melee pro some validation that goes like, okay, like what am I doing with myself as a person? Like, should I continue to pursue this Melee thing? And then this Red Bull thing comes in and is providing him the resources he needs. So I feel pretty good about Ice.
So sleeper team, Wizzy and Abu. Sleeper team. That team could beat Axe Amsa. Amsa struggles with Falcon. Obviously, Axe is a monster there, but it's still a Puff. Like, how well can Pikachu really do against Puff? And I'll be fighting teams, and Wizzy, he can kill people. So, sleeper team there, man.
I think I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I think Axe and Amsa are going to 3-0 them. Or 2-0 them, depending on the bracket. I think they're going to get destroyed.
When you put it like that, I agree with you. Yeah, actually, guys, you're completely right.
Like, because
I want to give them some credit. I think they could get a solid 7th place.
I mean, who's really contesting them for 7th though?
All right. Well, after that, we have a potential upset with Axe Amsa versus Aspat Pew Pew. That could. Am I wrong here? Couldn't that be an upset? Yoshi, Pikachu against Marth. That's terrifying.
What does Pew Pew do here? Like
double Fox.
They have to go double Fox, or
I think you go double Fox.
Yeah, he just seems so out of place, like against both those characters.
I think you go double Fox.
But then you run into that other issue, right? Like Amsa can like hit you and do like 80 damage right off the get go, and Axe can just get Foxes left and right.
Also, hasn't Kevin gone to like one tournament in the last 6 months? Like, what's Kevin gone to? Am I crazy here? Well, we haven't seen Kevin Toy in forever. He went to Genesis, obviously. But, paid Super Smash Brothers player, Kevin Toy, raking in the salary. I don't know. He's not going to locals, right? There was that one NorCal local where all the top players were supposed to show up. They signed up. What was it, Gator Games or whatever? And all of them went out to eat instead. And they didn't. You heard about that, Tafo?
I did. And then that was...
I hate NorCal! I hate that!
That was the tweet that was what inspired Toph to put in, like, locals are dead, right?
I literally hate this region. This room, you see this right here? This right here is the SoCal Embassy inside Northern California. Because I don't live in NorCal. I don't live here. I cannot say... It's been 3 years. I've had time to warm up to this region, and I still hate it. F these people.
To add insult to injury, that room probably costs you $2,000 a month.
Is that what you think? You think it only costs $2,000 a month?
No, just for the room. Just for that room.
There's an apartment outside that it's not just a room. It's not a studio. But the point is, screw NorCal. And then they have the gall. They have the gall. Shroomed has the gall. He asked me, and so many of the others do. Said, Blur, why don't you just take your TO skills and help us out? Host a tournament in NorCal. I want to slap him across the face. Slap him across the face. Never hosting a tournament here unless it's a blood for blood. Unless they get their act together, because I love them as people. But I was so mad when I heard that. I don't have all the facts. I'll be honest, maybe I'm completely wrong here. I literally scrolled by that on Facebook, and that's because I'm trying to reduce my social media time to make myself a better person. I scrolled by it hella quickly.
Meanwhile, you have
But if what I heard was true, and what I read in 5 seconds and then moved past was true, F NorCal, F all those guys. I hope all their teams drop them, and I hope they go broke on the street. F those guys.
Damn. And meanwhile, you have Johnny, Lucky, Hugo, and Mike like grinding tournaments every day of the week.
You got that? I shame those guys, and when they don't, literally, we have a strat. We shame them. That's the only way. These guys have no shame. You shame these guys, they're like, I still don't want to go. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And NorCal's about to have this like amazing April with events like ESA Oakland's opening. We got like there's something else in NorCal in April. Isn't there? There's the Deep is coming back. Like all these TOs and people are trying to do stuff. Where the heck is the top player and influencer support? NorCal. What's going on? What's going on? The Arcadians are showing up. There's an Arcadian this weekend we can talk about. It's gonna be cool.
You know what would be the ultimate justice for them? Like, you have the Rockies, the Zuzas, the Nick and Whittiers, and, like, by the end of 2018, they do better than the top players in NorCal. at like nationals. That'd be like the ultimate revenge.
That's what happened with MDVA, by the way. MDVA, admittedly, Chew and Chilla, good friends of mine. And like a lot of the top players, like the old school top players, this is during a time where Smash was like not in a great space. Melee wasn't, at least
2010-ish.
They weren't really supporting the scene that well, and mostly they were coming in, raking money, maybe splitting some. And eventually, new generation came along, took them off their throne. You never know. Don't be so comfortable. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean those like the Rouse, they're like hungry. Like they go to everything. I see their names in like 6 NorCal locals a week.
And I am a guy who instigates Zach SFAT a lot. But one thing he doesn't share with the rest of NorCal is that man goes to tournaments. He puts himself out there. He goes and grinds. He does stuff for his community. You got to give him. He streams. Got to give my boy Zach credit. You got to give him a little bit of credit. He's out there. So, but now he's in SoCal. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm not part of I haven't been a part of the scene for a while, like, because when I used to host events, I can't believe I actually used to do that. Like, everybody would come, and it's kind of weird and foreign to me that I'm hearing complaints that people aren't going. But
you got people hosting bangers. You got people, literally actual bangers are coming out in NorCal in April. You know, like, we had a while, like I think last year, where there weren't enough good events in NorCal, but I think it's kind of shaping up. We're finding more venues. There's more opportunities. It's shaping up decently, making a little bit of better of a scene despite all the really high prices, in terms of for venues in the NorCal scene. And still, what do we have? Like I want to see more support. I want to see an event series in NorCal which has all the best players consistently showing up. That's all I'm asking for, right? We lost that in SoCal. I'll admit it. It was also awesome when it existed, but we lost that. We don't really have that anymore. At least though, we have weeklies where a lot of them show up, like Nimbus, for example, and that's kind of taken a little bit of the reins, and that's been nice. But we don't have that in NorCal. Come on.
Okay, we totally like took a left turn there.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Odds of Plup2 King and PewFat not winning doubles, aka
Hey, let's make a call. Make a call, Tafo. Who is winning?
All right, I'm gonna say Plup2 King.
I'm also gonna say Plup2 King. I cannot hate NorCal this hard and pick PewFat.
I just think that Plup handles 1v2 so well that Mewtwo King can play at his own pace and do whatever he wants and have like no pressure on him. And Plup is just so good at like outmaneuvering both of them, like both SFAT and Pew, that I just think that it's going to be a close set. But I think maybe SFAT and Pew are mad about losing at Genesis to them. Maybe they go for revenge. I heard they're practicing, but I just think Plup is just way too good right now.
Plup's on fire. What are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Nothing else to say. So yes, guys, I didn't pick PewFat, and keep in mind, yes, I'm a huge PewFat fan. I just hated a lot of NorCal right now, though, and can't pick him. Can't pick him. I mean, that's his bottom line. Everyone's part of the Plup Cup, including me.
Me too, even in doubles.
Plup is hot right now.
So singles.
All right, let's talk singles, and this is a singles tournament for the ages because we got look. Okay, guys. Again, like I said, promotion for this event, garbage. But that doesn't mean you melee connoisseurs, the people in the know, the people who really know what's going on and know what to watch, when to watch, and are true fans of the game, can't appreciate an event like this because here's the lineup. We got HBox, we got Mewtwo King, we got Plup, we got Axe, we got SFAT, we got Wizrobe. Last I checked, that is 7 of the top 10.
6 of the top 9.
6 of the top 9. Yes, I miscounted. 6 of the top 9. All right, whatever. Put 6 of the top 9. That's 2/3. 2/3 of the top 9.
And then we go down the list. We have Duck, Swedish Crush, Moon, Lucky, Pew, Zane, Hugs. That's like 2/3 of like, and Amsa too. We have like 2/3 of the top 25 at this event.
Freaking Amsa's there. Yeah, Amsa, the Yoshi. We got DizKid, we got Mike Hayes, we got KJS, Boo, Kage, the Warrior, Trillium, like, fuck, Legend, like, hella good players. This tournament's stacked AF. Everyone should watch this. If you guys are starved after February, this is the event to watch. This is going to be great.
It's gonna be kind of crazy.
You know,
I don't know how this bracket's gonna play out. The more I think about it,
it's. I mean, it's actually pretty nuts. So okay, so I want to talk about top 32 first because we like to scope out the upsets here on Commentator's Curse.
All right.
And immediately, some things, we should point out. The Moon has access bracket, so I think he's pretty much screwed.
He wins one. I think it's a nice solid 3-1.
I think it's a nice solid 3-0. But I like the one. He might take one of the Yoshi's games. So I like the optimism because Ryan is my guy. But I also never trust any player after they come back from Mexico. I think Moon's getting 25th.
What if he loses? What if he just straight up loses to KGH before?
That could happen. And you know what? He's winning in other ways. He's winning in life in so many ways. But he's not winning this tournament. Let me tell you that much. He's not winning this tournament. So we got Wizzy and Duck. So I think that's a solid loss for Duck. Correct.
3-1. Duck wins one game on Fountain.
Yeah. So keep in mind what we're saying is we're like, okay, we think that these things are going to naturally shape the bracket because it looks pretty solidly like that's going to happen. We have Crush Lucky, which I don't know who's the favorite there. Part of me says Lucky. Joey's been hot in his own way, and also he's good at Fox Dittos, man. Like when Joey's hot, he's solid on Fox Dittos, and people in SoCal have a pretty high opinion of Joey right now.
Yeah, some people are putting like Lucky at like number 10 on like the current list right now. Like if you were to make a power ranking right now, a lot of people are putting like Lucky at 10 or 11.
Yeah, and I know on this show we're big fans of Crush, but Lucky's. I mean, he made top 8 chances, baby. What are you gonna say? Taking the toss. So, yeah, okay, Lucky can win that. And actually, upset alert. After that, winner of that plays Hungry Box. Joey can beat H-Box. 100%. He's done it before. He's done it many times. It's not only one time, but he's done it many times. So that's an upset alert. If Joey, in so many ways, if you are one of those annoying, insufferable, but sometimes justified Hungry Box haters, you want Joey to win. So that's the thing to think about. We got Zane and Hugs, and I think Zane has no chance. I think Hugo's going to win that pretty free.
Well, I mean, Zane, to be perfectly fair, beat Duck just a week ago. Or like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's going to lose to Hugs.
I think it's going to be pretty close.
Hugo's better at that matchup. He has blur trading.
Oh, that's going to make him worse.
That's not going to make him worse.
Oh man, he built all the bad habits.
Guys, can we finally give Hugo some credit around here? This is his matchup. This is his year. He's on Dignitas. He's streaming.
Well,
he's the man is putting his life together.
Okay, so you say it's a runaway. I think it's gonna be closer. I'm not saying like Zane's just gonna flat out stomp Hugo. I just
3-1. 3-1.
I think it's gonna be
win Yoshi. He's gonna win Yoshi's. I think. Wait, you think who's gonna win? You think Zane's gonna win 3-2?
I think it's Hugo 3-2.
Oh, so you flipped it around. I thought you thought Zane had it.
No, I'm just saying that it's going to be closer than you think.
So all that discussion and all that conflict between us right now was the difference between 3-1 and 3-2?
Yes.
All right, Tafo. All right. Okay. All right. Anyway, plot my case is screwed.
Was that so how many stocks, if we're doing like an over-under spread, right?
That's a 3-0, dude.
How many?
That's all.
So is Pluff gonna 7-stock him in those 3 games?
Oh, come on. It'll be a 6-stock.
Dude, so he might not even make it to him. He has, the round before this is actually really hard. He has Discount Boogie right before.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Rough bracket for my boy Mike Hayes. Miguel Hayes.
Like we forget, like if you just scroll to the losers bracket right below, like some killers are in losers bracket, meaning they played some of the people that are projected in the winners.
Doug might not even make it to Dizzy, for example, because Wizzy, for example, because he has Kage.
Ooh, Kage's winning that.
Kage.
Dude, this is a no-brainer, I think Duck is gonna get destroyed by Kage.
Chat, Kage the Warrior. A lot of people are fans. Not gonna lie, Kage the Warrior, big fan favorite. He's got his own personality. He's got his own flair with the game, and for whatever reason, he plays Ganondorf. What do y'all think? Kage or Duck?
I think Kage is gonna. This is gonna be like a 4-stock 2-0. Like,
oh my god!
Like,
okay,
2-stock,
right.
2-stock.
I don't know if you're underrating Duck.
No,
but
Duck is terrible against Samus or against.
I also think Kage's winning.
I think it's gonna be a double 2-stock.
Kage's really good. He's one of the greatest players of all time. We don't like to say it sometimes, but actually we do. Screw it. We got Ganondorf as one of the greatest players of all time. One of the most accomplished players of all time. He beat the fruit. Not forget who Kage is. Put some respect on his name. He's gonna win. He's gonna win that match.
Dude, like,
and then he's gonna get destroyed by Wizrobe. But he's gonna win that match.
Dude, what if Kage beat Wizzy too?
Then we're all putting Canadian flags up, dude. I'm moving to Quebec.
Dude, I think, yeah. I mean, people forget that, like, Duck lost to, like, Bizarro Flame. Like, and, like, we don't have much of a history. Granted, that was a couple years ago, but, like, Duck doesn't have much of a good history on gamins.
Okay, crazy. I'm crazy right now because I'm looking at these brackets. Could Axe lose to Fork?
No.
Because Pikachu ICs, in my opinion, my estimation, along with Pikachu Peach, one of the worst matchups for Pikachu. So Axe sometimes goes Young Link or other characters in that matchup. But Fork's a wobbler. And he's there is a non-zero chance there. But he might lose to Plum. Plum is really good. Plum's a Falcon that's in that bracket, so.
Dude, I think his Young Link...
Fork might not even make it to Axe.
I think Axe's Young Link is just it's solid enough and technical enough that I don't really see him randomly getting shield grabbed. That, like, I think he takes it.
Okay, but the fact that he's going to probably go Young Link means there is a more than 0 chance that he's going to lose, in my opinion. I think there's a solid 5% here.
Okay, 5% in a best of 3, I can give you that.
I'm going to give him a 5%.
Didn't, like, Fork give, like, Mewtwo King a scare, like, a few years ago, too?
Fork's pretty good, but he might lose to Plum, so he might not even make it there, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
There's KGH and La Luna. KGH is screwed. That is a loss.
Well, I mean, we just pointed out that La Luna is, like, hanging out with La Familia in Mexico.
He does have a if he loses to KGH, a person who I think he'd have no business losing to, if it wasn't for Mexico. I don't know. If I was his manager, I'd be talking to him and be like, seems to be a trend here.
All right, we're gonna I'm wait, no, okay. For some reason I mixed up because I was like, I know Noah, but then I was like, never mind.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have Mewtwo King Pew Pew. I think Pew Pew in his current shape cannot beat Mewtwo King.
Does he even make it this far? Let me look at his bracket. He has ice. I don't know if he gets past ice. That's actually a good match.
These brackets are stacked! If you're not watching this tournament, you're not a Melee fan. These brackets are stacked. That's in what? Winners? Like, this isn't like pools.
Well,
this isn't pools. Because this is such a top-heavy tournament because, again, the promotion was terrible, that effectively it's a 180-person invitational.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, which is great for a viewer because you'll watch the whole time and you'll see great matches literally from start to finish. If there is a stream runner worth their salt, I'm going to talk to even Matchup Gaming. If there's a stream runner worth their salt, we're going to have literally incredible games from dusk till dawn.
Yeah. The round 1 pools, we should have like a top 25 versus like top 25 player like every wave.
Literally. Oh my. Please tell me, Canada, tell me the stream runner at this tournament is legit. TAS, do we gotta get you out there? I will pay for the flight of a legitimate stream runner for this. Actually, I won't do that, but I won't do anything like that. But I will support and give props to a legitimate stream runner. They do a good job.
We should, we should do a donation fund. Pay somebody like $50.
TAS says he is a contributor of the community, but he lives in Canada and he doesn't know who the stream runner is. Practical TAS, where are your priorities? This tournament of all tournaments, with the way it's formatted, needs a good stream runner. Someone needs to do a good job here, and I have a sneaking suspicion they might not. So get on top of that.
Okay. Well, do we have any hot take things in? God, I wish like we had like I wish it showed one like rather than it being at the end of round one pools, like there's one more round that showed in like the later part of the bracket because I have to keep going back and forth, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. So there's Abu Amsa that we gotta talk about.
Dude, what if Lucky loses to Moki?
I mean,
there is a chance that happens.
I mean, it's not just a chance. Lucky and Moki played before, right? It was Moki, right? That
no, that was Bobby
Lucky.
Frizz.
That was Bobby Frizz. Dude, I get these
these new foxes.
These fringe foxes, I get them mixed up sometimes. It wasn't Moki, you're right. Moki could do it.
He beat Chudat.
I don't think so. I honestly don't. I think Joey's in a good spot. Like we said, we think this guy could go to winter semis.
Or he can get 25th.
I don't think he can get 25th.
17th. 13th. 13th.
Joey, worst case scenario of this tournament, in my opinion, is 13th.
Or he can get like 4th or 3rd.
He could get legitimately 3rd. So keep that in mind. We're talking about Joya Lama. Legend Lucky. I think he'll do all right. So Amsa versus Abu. Amsa's winning that, right? Like I actually think he's decent at the matchup, but I mean I don't know. Is Abu on a high? What do you think?
I think years of playing against other Japanese players have gone Amsa used to lame play styles. Like, have you seen like some of the Sheiks and some of the Falcons in Japan? They literally just camp him the whole set, and that's something that Abu like does. He plays a lot more defensive, and I think Amsa's just so used to it. And like, there's going to be so many factors with like super armor and pairing that, and even just the egg stall that I don't know if Abu's going to be able to figure it out.
The skill difference is too big. I just think Amsa's just so
and the match of
familiarity.
familiarity. Like, I just think it's going to be a clean 2-0.
Yeah, I think Amsa's going to win, but you can never write off a player like Abu. You never have.
Dude, you know what I want to see here, man? I want to see an Amsa run. Like, I want to see him like have a rematch with Mewtwo King, which we haven't seen in a long time. And then I want to see that rematch from GTX where like Amsa and Plup played. I want to see those sets. Like,
when's the last time Amsa and Mewtwo King played? Obviously, there's a legendary set at Kings of Cali 4, one of the greatest tournament series of all time. When's the last time they played?
I think they played like semi-recent. Like, they played since then, and I think Mewtwo King like took it pretty solidly. But I will look at Tapo stats and get you that information right now.
Obviously, he's got a very hard matchup ahead of him with SFAT.
Okay, so Battle BC2, Mewtwo King took it 3-1. That was in June of 2017.
Hey, but he's still taking games, and I feel like we have a better Amsa now than we had at Battle BC2 time. Am I wrong? I think he's better now. I think as a player, he's better now.
Yeah, I mean, he was like stressed out and unhappy of his work situation. Now he's resolved to like try to become a full-time smasher, and it seems like he's a lot happier as a person and like more dedicated. And like he has a coach too. Like, and he beat Plup. He beat Plup Sheik.
Thing not to underrate too is Amsa. We hung out with him in Japan. His English has gotten significantly better. He's pulling an armada. He's literally learning English to get better at Smash Brothers, which I respect the heck out of. But that's actually a big deal in terms of getting better at Smash Brothers, because unfortunately our community is plagued by the issue that all our content's in English. And so I think Amsa, as good as he is, you know, he's never really accessed the vault of English content that most people use to get better. And you know, it could play a factor, because realistically, there's a lot you can learn off just that fact alone. So,
I think
that also shows a level of dedication to the game that I respect the heck out of.
I really love the conversation that we were able to have after one of the nights at Genesis 5, where he beat Wizzy after getting mollywopped at Smash Summit, and he explained like how he got better at the matchup. He, I think, grinded the matchup with Gucci. He had a coach that like walked through many situations with him, and to see him go from like he has no chance of beating Wizzy to actually beating him the next time they played, like shows me that like there are changes that he's making as a player that will bring him to the next level.
I mean, there's no other way to put it. Amsa as a player, it's impossible not to be a fan, because this guy is coming from Japan, you know, again, didn't know English when he started. He's learning it for this game. Is playing a character with no other top level representation, and it's literally blazing a path. You gotta love Amsa, and I'm a full faith believer. SFAT's got to watch out. Obviously, that matchup is god awful, and I think SFAT's obviously super good. But if he gets past SFAT, I like his chances. And I think even if he loses SFAT, he could make a crazy losers round.
Yeah, it's interesting enough that SFAT actually traveled to Japan not too long ago in February.
I think he beat him, right? SFAT won, right?
Yeah, SFAT lost winners, and then he won grand finals 3-1, 3-1.
Guess what? Losing winners is enough here because they only play in winners. So
maybe in losers, we don't know.
Yeah, it could happen again. However, again, I like Amsa's run in loser potentially. This honestly could just be a really short run for him though, because SFAT Swedish, you never know, right? After that, it gets a lot easier for him. Not so much.
I think like Swedish's stock has gone. I don't know what happened to him. He was like, like in the middle of like late 2016 to early 2017, debatably 10th, 11th. I don't know what's happened to Swedish in like the past like half a year.
True. I actually agree with that. Having said that, even if he gets past Swedish, that puts him on the same side as probably Wizzy, assuming Wizzy loses to Axe, which I think he will.
And but then he might just lose to Pew Pew.
Who? Amsa? Oh yeah, but the Pew Pew Fox.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Amsa losing to SFAT would be disastrous for him, because it puts him in a really bad. He would actually rather lose like the round before, because I think all the Amsa killers are actually in the same side. TOs, I appreciate the lack of corruption, but a lesser man would give Amsa an easier bracket than this, for viewership's sake.
Okay.
So
I also have to add
he has a tough road.
I also have to add here, if some of the stat nerds or people with a lot of time want to point this out, Wizzy typically does a lot worse on West Coast events. One of the big things that is an issue for Wizzy is getting adjusted to different time zones. Like he's always said that he needs to come a lot earlier, and he's the type of person, like if you like look at his headset thing, and wiping off everything has to be exactly perfect for him, or else like he doesn't function as well. So I think there's a huge split in the level of play, even if you just do the eye test. And I think if you look at results, it'll confirm this, that Wizzy on the West Coast does not do as well, with the exception of Smash Rivalries, because we flew him in early so that he could adjust his sleeping patterns. But if he doesn't have time to come in early, like he tends to not do very well on the West Coast.
Facts. I think you're right there. So okay, so we'll see. So let's talk about the top level. Let's talk about the top 8.
Is Hungrybox not making winners semis?
The only way would be lucky, right?
Yes.
So it's possible. I'm gonna give it a 10% chance.
I'm giving it like a 5% chance, just because Lucky has to get there first.
I'm actually super excited to see Axe Hungrybox if it happens. I think it's very likely happening. I think Wizzy beating Axe seems unlikely.
I think the unfortunate thing for Axe here, though, is like Axe is like the unusual matchup in this case, right? You have Hungrybox if Hungrybox had to transition from like a Fox into Axe right after, then he doesn't get time to warm up. But like just for the fact that he has an entire day after round, I don't know the exact schedule, but I assume like top 8 is its own day. Like Hungrybox literally gets a whole day with Crunch to like figure out what he needs to do against Axe's Pikachu and his Young Link. Or
he could be looking past him. You never know. So what I'll say is, the reason people ask, why are you excited about Axe HBox? Axe usually loses that. Reason I'm excited is because though he usually loses that, people lose until they don't. That's the crazy thing. And I am an Axe believer, and I have been ever since day one. I want to see what he pulls out. I hope he's not sitting around not thinking about this matchup, because the fact of the matter is, leading up to it, relatively easy bracket for him, at least. Obviously beating Moon and Wizzy is not easy, but for Axe, those are pretty favorable matchups, considering the histories. So this is really the match you should be looking forward to, because he wins that, you never know, he can win the tournament, and this would be an insanely good win for Axe. So whether it's the Young Link, which I think could be dope, Young Swag, or if he learns the matchup with Pikachu, It's totally doable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Um, I think he's gonna have to like start off strong. I think like, usually their early games are really close, and then
Yeah.
like it gets worse and worse as the set progresses. So for him, he needs to win game one. He needs to have enough momentum. And I'm also we had to have some optimism about that young Link. Like he went down 2-0, and then he won his counter pick on I think Stadium on a timeout. He won a game on Dreamland, and then he lost game five.
Okay, so make a call. Is he going Young Link from the start?
No, he gets bodied game one, and then he switches to Young Link.
I'm gonna make a call. I think he goes Young Link game one.
He goes Young Link game one.
You know why? Because I think, like you said, and again, I don't remember the tournament schedule for this one. I think in a scenario where their first match of the day is a match where you can play your secondary, what you do is you practice your secondary leading up to it. And I think he'll do that for HBox, and he'll want to just start off with Young Link, start off strong. And because of the previous match where his Young Link was like making a comeback, but it's because you put him at a deficit, I think he'll want all the games he can get. So I think we're seeing Young Links from game one. This time. He never really does that, right? So it'd be nice to have a set where he like straight up is Young Link the whole time.
I think the other interesting thing is that if we played a seed, yeah, Meetiking's been Meetiking had a really bad Genesis. His Smash Summit wasn't spectacular, but like he's the dark horse of any given tournament where like he could just randomly come out and win a tournament or like get really close to winning. So I think I'm really close. I'm really excited to see a rematch between Plep and MT King.
Yeah. You can never underestimate or doubt the King. Mute King always has one major win in him a year. And this is kind of like, it doesn't have all the gods, but it has like a sprinkling. It has 6 of the top 9. It's stacked enough for Mute King, but it's still like within his ballpark. This could be the one. It can hit us early this year. You never know. So I think Mute King is most likely getting either second or third at this event. He could go as low as 5th at this type of event. But don't doubt the King. Don't doubt the King. Plum has always been close. You never know.
Yeah, and I think people forget Meet King doesn't win events, but like he had certain head-to-heads that were really strong. Like his HBox head-to-head last year wasn't that bad.
What's the Plum Mute King head-to-head last year?
It was 5-2.
In Mute King's favor.
Yes.
So keep that in mind, guys. I know everyone's on the Plub train, but no, I know it's a new year, it's a new Plub, but bottom line, Sheik Dittos, Jason wins. So.
And I think Mutiking and Plop both have a pretty good chance of. I would say HBox is the favorite because HBox doesn't have to play Mutiking or Plop until winners finals if they meet. But both of them could beat. Both Mutiking and Plop can beat Hungrybox. I think Hungrybox is a favorite in both of those head-to-heads, but it's not a free cakewalk for him.
So basically, the way I'd put it is this tournament, it really depends on what your current view of Melee is. You could be the conservative guy who doesn't really take Genesis or maybe some of the more recent eye tests that maybe you observe throughout the scene too much heart, and you kind of look at a lot of the 2017 data, and you think, you know what, this tournament is going to be 1 HBox, 2 Mewtwo King, 3 Plup, 4 Axe, right? That's what a pure statistician would say. I think that's what practical TAS would predict. Or you could be the guy out there who's saying, boy, the eye test says Plup is not getting anything but top 2 at minimum. And the eye test also, favors players who are rising, like maybe a Wizzy or an Axe
or Zane
or Lucky or Zane, and that they're going to cause some trouble in the mists because they're obviously improving, and looking at stats from a holistic standpoint from last year might not be so relevant when their skill has changed so drastically since that time.
Oh, I have to retract something. This is in East Coast Canada? Okay, take back everything I said about Wizzy not doing well.
Oh, I actually completely missed that point. That shows that actually sometimes I don't listen to what anything Tef was saying. I was thinking about my next point. I actually didn't hear it. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Taffo. I ignored you.
For some reason, I thought this was in Vancouver and not Toronto.
Yeah, I knew it was in Toronto. Didn't correct you.
You didn't correct me, man.
'Cause I wasn't listening.
I mean, what do you? Who's like your player that you feel like is gonna greatly beat expectations? Well, first off, let's pick a winner. I'm gonna pick Hungrybox.
Dog, I gotta be honest. My brain, my big, massive, heavy, enormous brain is screaming Hungrybox. It's literally screaming at me Hungrybox. Like, look, you can't take too much stock into Genesis. Hungrybox Mutant King, you take any day of the week, and Mutant King, I still think, is probably favored against Plup. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. And I mean, Hungrybox doesn't have that hard of a road. Even if we talk about Axe potentially pulling it off an upset, it's not a bad road for HBox. Brain is screaming Hungrybox.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
But you just picked them, and we got like 500 viewers who want to pick a fan favorite, so let's pick Plup.
Yeah, dude, Hungrybox may have won Genesis if Plup didn't get 2 stadiums. And I don't think that's happening again.
Facts. if I'm being super honest, like I said, like you guys value the eye test. The eye test is literally never wrong. The eye test is Hungrybox, dude. I think he's the best player in the game. That's my honest opinion. But there's something in my gut that understands that at Genesis, going into that second set of grand finals, I didn't believe in Plup. I didn't believe in him, Taffo.
Yeah, I thought he was like so shook that I didn't think he had a chance.
And guess what? We were all shocked and we were all surprised. And when great ones come, it happens faster than you expect, and it's much more subtle than you expect, and it's more dominant than you expect. And I think Plup's a great one. So this might be his year, and if it's his year, this would be a great win to have, right? Imagine a world where he wins Genesis and EGLX back to back. We're going to start hearing mumbling. We're going to start hearing murmured. We're going to start hearing people talk about Plup as the greatest player in the world. I'm serious. Those people would be wrong because it'd be a little too early to say. You can't just win 2 tournaments and completely flip yourself from like number 5, number 6, and number 1. That'd be insane. But I guarantee you the conversation will start. I guarantee you we'll be back on this show telling you that this Plup kid is a superior player to these other guys. So keep in mind, that's the stakes here. The stakes here is that Plup, for the first time in his Smash career, has an opportunity to be in the conversation. He's never been in the conversation for best in the world.
Yeah.
This is what you play for. You play this game for years. My man's been playing for a decade. He's been trying. He's been going out there. He was the Samus man. He was the Turtle Sheik man. He has a little Fox on the side. He has a Luigi on the side. Who knows about his Luigi? This is what you play for. You're trying to be best in the world. And this is his first opportunity as a Smash Brothers player. This event is his first opportunity to be in the conversation.
So it's
That's
exciting.
a big deal.
I mean,
that's a big deal. He has a lot more to win than HBox does.
I think we anticipated this like years ago, but like now we're like in that moment where we're actually talking about it.
That's the crazy thing. On this show, we were talking about Plup eye test. He was so high on the eye test. Like, we were watching this guy and we were like, this guy is, he's got so much in his game that we like. It took him a while to put it together. Frankly, it took him a little longer than we wanted. We wanted it now, and of course we did. We're so impatient. We want to see the greatness.
So
it's finally coming together, and now that it's coming together, it might happen faster than we think. So if he wins this tournament, he's going to be in the conversation, and that's a big, big deal.
I think the big thing also here, so, you know, Plup contending for #1 is a really huge thing, and something we saw, like I mentioned, but I never really knew how it was going to feel when this day actually came. We also have another interesting debate. We kind of mentioned it last week even. Axe if Axe outperforms Mutant King again, what do we think of that? Like, does Axe deserve 6th seed over Mutant King in the future? Because that would be the 3rd tournament in a row.
So in this or that, the segment that is brought to you by the mailing statistics nerds who help us make those questions. Last week, we talked about Mewtwo King versus Axe. And initially, you hear that question, you're like, obviously, it's Jason, Mewtwo King. And then you look at the results, and you're like, oh, Axe has had a little bit of a run here. Axe has had a bit of a period that's helped him. And this tournament, you know, there's no threat of Axe going out early, I don't think. I think there's very little chance he's going to lose to Wizzy and Moon. And of course, you know, H-Box, very tough match. But, you know, it is more than conceivable that Axe outplays Mewtwo King at this event. And then we start having that conversation. Is Axe better than Mewtwo King now? And honestly, in terms of results, he could. It's not like he could pass up Mango. Axe could be a top 4 player. He could be a top 5 player. You know, like he can keep go up and up and up. It's possible. So he needs this event too, because the thing that we've seen routinely in Axe's career is that he starts crescendoing into a high. He starts building some momentum behind him with some really good results, and all of a sudden he slumps. Right? It's like what happened? I don't know. Maybe people figured him out. I don't know. I don't really think that's it. I just think he slumps. But damn, it'd be nice if it finally stops teasing us, right? Like, yeah. And he takes that crescendo and he leads it to. I wish I knew more about music to tell you, you know, after crescendo and when the music goes crazy. What is that called, Tafo? Do you know?
I do not know.
Well, if he leads it to that, you know what I'm saying? That would be nice. Yeah.
Dude, people are saying like, oh, like Axe's road to H-Box is like not free. I'm like, he literally got a Marth and a Falcon or a Ganon. Like, this is like the best bracket he could have asked for, like in terms of characters.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the other debate, and I'm pretty excited for that. You know, my brain and tradition tell me that Mewtwo King's going to outperform Axe, but you know the blocks are in play now. Who's your based on bracket? Who do you think you know is going to greatly outperform perception and expectation?
I think. I think Lucky. I think there is a solid chance that Lucky is going to beat Crush, and then he has a small chance of being H-Box. But even if he loses to Crush, I like his chances against Ice Ride Ford Zane. That's a bit of a run, but I like his chances there. And then if he beats Crush and loses to H-Box, what's he got? He's got Hugo. And so I like his chances there, right? So I think Lucky's making top 8, right? And then once top 8 happens, he's either, if he's in the Crush spot, going to be playing against Wizzy, which still, I mean, that's a bit harder, but still not terrible. But I think he realistically is going to get 5th or 7th at this thing, and I think that's really good for him.
I'm riding the Kage train here.
Kage, because you like him against Duck, right?
Like, I think that matchup is not going to be close.
Yeah.
I do think that with like him like playing like I think how close are Toronto and Ontario? People in Canada are going to blast me. I think he's playing relatively close in terms like closer than where Wizzy's traveling from, so I think that gives him a little bit of a boost. I think Kage, like, I don't want to say he's the favorite, but I do think there's, like, a decent shot he could upset Wizzy.
I mean, decent shot. Define. Give me a percentage, Taff.
40%.
Holy smokes, where are you getting that? What happened to the calm and logical Taffkins that I know and love? 40%? That's like a little biased coin flip.
I think people sleep on Kage.
Kage is a warrior, but like Chroma09 says in chat, Gan is very bad. That's a bad character. That's a horrible character.
It's a good enough character to beat Samus.
Yeah, sure, but you're talking about Falcon.
Dude. Kage is you know, has a decade worth of Falcon experience, man.
Okay. So disagree. But I think that You're right that it's a non-zero chance. I think Kage gets slept on continuously. That guy's amazing, and he is one of the greatest players of all time. And you can never doubt the goats. So not doubting him, but I think it's like a 20% chance at best, maybe 10.
Damn. Well, I mean, I think that's probably the more reasonable thing. I just have this gut feeling that like Kage's going to do really well this tournament.
Kage also feels like the type where Canada might get behind him, and all 180 people in that room might just be cheering.
So Kage is going to be up 2-1 in the set against Wizzy, and then Wizzy's going to take 20 minutes to play Game 4, and it's going to ice Kage, and then Wizzy's going to win Game 4 and Game 5.
Does a Warrior's heart full of fire get iced?
I think
yes, actually, yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does absolutely. I answered my own question. Okay, so EGLX is an event. Smash Brothers players, we're going to be honest with you. The promotion, the buzz around the event hasn't been, hasn't been top of mind sometimes. But I want all 440 viewers that are currently watching right now to spread it a little bit because it's Thursday. This event is what, tomorrow?
Yeah, doubles ends actually tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah. So, and this event's one of those events where, doubles is super hype. It's going to have good matches from the start. So I'd really like to see some true support behind this one because we're all starved. Like, the fact that these matches are happening is like, oh my God, that feels so good for me. Like, I just want to watch some Melee, bro. Screw these other, you know how many hours I've watched Overwatch League just to learn from their production, only to learn that it's not Melee. So I don't really care. Like, let a man watch some Melee. And this is what EGLX is giving me, so I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good event. We have one other event also, with the Melee Arcadian coming up.
Fantastic. Yeah, we should talk about the Arcadian. We talked about it last week a little bit, but I think more people registered, so we have a better picture about who's going. I think like 200 plus people are going to this thing.
218.
Is it even the biggest Arcadian this weekend? How big is the NorCal Arcadian?
I mean, that one NorCal Arcadian was like, what, 250 people the last time?
Yeah. So the funny thing is the National Arcadian, there's 2 Arcadians going on this weekend, and the NorCal Arcadian is huge too. So, I think that part's interesting. But they're actually pretty different events because it's not a fully amateur event. Like, of course, no top 100 players are allowed, but like it's top 100 to 200 players are the favorites, whereas the NorCal Arcadian is more like people that aren't even in that conversation, right? Because it's like a true Arcadian. So it's a bit different.
Dude, my boy Ultimate Scout's gonna win this, man.
I
guess the NorCal Arcadian has like 280 people, according to Destiny Fan.
NorCal Arcadian has 280 people.
Yeah,
and so the biggest Arcadian this weekend is the NorCal Arcadian. Let this be a lesson, guys. Put a lower skill cap on your Arcadians. More people will go.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Also hosted in California. Both those things tend to help.
When's the last time SoCal's had an Arcadian?
It's been a while. I'm trying to kick some SoCal people into gear to do it, but I mean, it's up to them. So, what do we got? We got a rookie winning. We got Wieners winning. Is that the end result?
What if a rookie and Wieners was grand finals?
Can we speak with our hearts for once and just have them as in grand finals? Can the heart of Melee pull through one time?
And then East Coast Jeff can get third.
Yeah, let's have Jeff third. Why not?
And then we'll put Kyle, SK92, in fourth.
Dude, Bananas is winning. Bananas is winning, dude. Texas will love it. You got to give Texas some credit. They're going to love it. And you know what? I love it, too. Bananas, shout out to Bananas. He's pretty good. There was some conversation after Bananas was doing super well in that one Texas tournament where, like, Hugo and others were at. Like, Hugo
and Mike
ended up winning, and Mike winning, yeah. And after Mike said Hugo and Mike were talking on Twitter about how, like, Mike finally understands now why Hugo is so happy whenever he beats Bananas. That guy is hella good. So I don't doubt Nanners. I think he's the favorite, right? And this is without the full attending list in front of me, so maybe new people registered, but it's got to be Bananas, right?
Yeah.
I just hope my boy Wieners doesn't flame out.
Dude, watch him get like 33rd or something.
Wieners don't get 33rd, man. If Wieners wins the event, it'll be the proudest moment of my Smash career. I'm just gonna say it. I will cry. I'll cry. So I'm open. I'm rooting for him, man.
What are Wiener's matchups? Since you know you're more familiar with Wiener than I am.
I'm really sick of calling him Wieners. I call him Hatfield in real life. I don't call him Wieners. I just refuse to call him by that tag. So Hatfield, obviously is a Marth iteration who can play. He's better against Spaceys. He played Marth sometimes, though. He has, you know what? It's much more less about the matchups and more about the heart. So I don't want to boost him up too much because I don't want to get him nervous. But he has a solid chance of getting better than 33rd if he doesn't choke. The guy's a legend. Okay, so we just talked about the National Arcadian. Guys, watch that too, because there's going to be a lot of heart on the line on that one, right? And it's kind of like college basketball or college football, right? Where these guys are going to put their hearts on the line. Watch the NorCal Arcadian too, because I don't know about you, Tafo, but I love watching Arcadians because there's just so much passion there. They're trying so hard. It's adorable. I love it.
I mean, it is. It's like I don't know. I guess college basketball, college sports is one. I feel like it's also like the Hunger Games, where you send your tribute that you loved and raised for years, and you watch them fight against other tributes of Melee.
Y'all don't know the Hatfield Blur connection, but that is my son. Seeing him succeed, it would just be great, because that guy deserves it. He's been working real hard. He's always been doing great in his life. He's got a girl now. Let's go Hatfield. NorCal Arcadian, quick predictions. Wavebringer.
Who else is going through that?
There's hella people. Yo, people are predicting things that I'm just like, I saw a list of like, these are the people that can win, and they listed like 12 people. I was like, dog, Wavebringer's gonna win. I think Wavebringer's prohibitive favorite. Personal opinion.
Let's go with the illegal game player Thunder's Reign.
Yeah.
Thunder's Reign is actually pretty good at the game. I have to give him props.
It's not surprising. It's not surprising. That guy, isn't he like the greatest PM player of all time or something?
I think he's like top 3 right now.
So he's like, greatest PM player of all time.
The funny thing about
fringe favorite to win an NorCal Arcadian. Kind of translates perfectly.
You know what's really funny about these kind of things? The way that the meta works for Arcadians is like, you ask yourself, is the Ice Climbers going to run into Peach? And if the answer is no, the Ice Climbers is winning. There's I think, is Diplomatic Toucan allowed in this? Or is he ranked?
Maybe. So the people are saying there's Wavebringer, there's Azel. Azel has a genuine shot of winning.
Oh, Azel's good.
So Azel's super good. I'm going to make a statement based on the list that Algebra 123 posted, because I don't have the Smash GG link. Based on that list, only 2 people have a chance of winning. I think only Wavebringer and Azel have a chance of winning that list. And I know everyone likes Kevin Bach, people like Thunder's Ray, people like all these people, but Wavebringer and Azel are the only people who are winning that tournament.
Yeah,
my opinion.
I feel like a lot of the other people who were like really solid that weren't ranked recently got ranked. So I think that at the top, it's like there's a very clear distinction. Whereas like previous Arcadians, like you're like, wow, like there's so many like killers out there in NorCal that aren't ranked. So this is actually a little bit lighter at the very top, where like they're capable of winning. So yeah, I agree with you.
Like, I don't know, I'm the crazy guy that thinks Wavebringer can like straight up be ranked like top 10 in NorCal, like 7th or 8th level.
You do realize what 7th or 8th in NorCal means, right? That's like better than Cactar.
Depends. Do they have an activity stat? Because none of those other guys go to tournaments.
I mean, if there's no activity, then like, yeah, I totally agree with you. But do you forget that the top of NorCal is a little bit more stacked? That it would be actually kind of sad if Wavebringer was ranked number 8. No offense to Wavebringer, but if Wavebringer,
if it came down to activity, that guy's a top 3 player. Oh jeez.
Yeah. Sad times for NorCal. You got to get on it, Blur.
I'm going to give them crap. I'm not going to get on it. They need to get on it. I'm not a part of NorCal. This is a SoCal embassy. I live in SoCal. This is SoCal land. You're looking at it. I'm gonna keep giving them crap until they shape up. I don't like what I see. Anyway, we're gonna move on from shaming NorCal, and what's our next topic? So we were talked about the tournaments this weekend. We talked about the new Smash release. Everything's crazy right now, and I want to give a quick note about something I put out today, which was the public calendar. I'll admit to you guys, it took me and Aiden combined less than 30 minutes to make. So in some ways, it made me feel really bad that I didn't do it for all this time. Literally, the major reason we didn't make it up to now was, yes, we had all the data. We already had a private calendar that did the same thing. But it's kind of, I didn't know how useful it is, and people seem to really like it. We'll see if they actually use the goddamn thing. But, you know, it's kind of like one of those things where all this info is out there. Like, we don't need to make this. Like, you could just search Smash UG. This is all announced events. Like, it's not. But hey, it's all the information is in one place. So, for the curious, just go on my Twitter. And I recommend bookmarking that page because I think we're going to keep it up to date. If a blur gets a little bit of inspiration, and the only way I get that inspiration is with some positive feedback, we might do cool stuff with it. We might maybe build some graphics out. Maybe we'll do a this month in Melee graphic, and we'll put that on. Maybe hey, what if we made Tafel Talker autofocus content that's like that uses the calendar to talk about, hey, what is this next week in Melee? Maybe we incorporate that in commentators cards. There's some stuff that we can do with this that has some genuine potential, but you know, need some positive feedback to see if anyone cares. But you know, it's a nice little tool. Bookmark it, check it out. We're gonna update it if people care. Obviously, it's not the private calendar, so TOs, if you're listening to this, do not use it to book. That the public calendar, I think, has like 42, 43 events on it. The private calendar has 110. So there's a lot of unannounced events. There's a lot of events that are not publicly out there. Not all of them will actually end up happening because there's some of them are tentative. So keep that in mind. But TOs, it is literally incorrect to book based on just the public calendar knowledge. It's just wrong. Like Big House isn't on there because Big House didn't announce their date. So please don't use that for that purpose. But use it to know what's going on this weekend, next month, next 2 months. Because for the most part, it's super accurate about that stuff because that stuff's usually announced.
Alrighty. So yeah, we have a calendar. And if you're complaining that events aren't on there, you put it on the TOs and not Blur that they should put it public sooner.
Yeah. The real you know, players always complain that, you know, they told one TO that they can go to their event, and then this other event gets announced, and so they have to cancel on the TO, and they feel like a scumbag and whatever. Yeah, well, I mean, if TOs didn't announce their events so late, that wouldn't happen. So I really hope TOs start announcing sooner. I just don't think they're incentivized to do so because, for the most part, people still go, and players go where the money is. The top players end up going, and then local players end up registering anyway because, you know, you put your registration up 3 months earlier and no one registers for those 3 months, so it doesn't really end up making a difference to your bottom line. So anywho,
because we're degenerate gamblers, we're going to move on to our next section.
Yeah,
this or that for round 2. I modified a little bit based on the fact that we had different things, so some of this is literally stuff that I've literally thought of right now. We didn't really talk about this too much. Evo Melee top 8, over or under 140k.
Is that a joke?
We hit 133k roughly last time, right?
We were on Saturday.
You're right. 230k.
Give me over under
230. 230.
Give me
230.
230. 230. You're gonna. I'm gonna say some crazy snap right now. Over
230k. Damn. There must be some like Nintendo TV deal going on right now. For you to say over so confidently.
No, there is nothing but absurd confidence and belief in the Smash Brothers scene. We're gonna do over and also belief in the Dragon Ball Z scene. I think being a part of the lineup with Dragon Ball Z and with Tekken's growth and with Melee in there again, I think it's going to be a better Sunday than we've seen before, and I think that's going to naturally help boost the numbers. Um, so I think Smash has grown since 2 years ago, and we had like 220 last time. So I think we're gonna do better than 230 this time. That's a bold prediction. I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
bold call, but I think the lead up into Dragon Ball and like all the other stuff and the hype around the event in general this year is gonna be more than before, especially with the Evo brand branching out and making itself relevant for more months outside of the summer, like by establishing events like Evo Japan.
I think it's going to. I think a large part of this is actually going to depend on where Melee is slotted, because if Melee is slotted first, that actually is kind of rough for us to hit that number. I think there's like a slight chance we can, but imagine if we were like right before Dragon Ball.
Were you saying Dragon Ball's gonna finish? I don't think Dragon Ball's
No, like we had like Melee into Dragon Ball. Like we had like the third slot, because presumably.
So basically, the best slot is the 2 p.m. slot.
Yes.
We don't want to be the last slot. The last slot is trash. Guys, if we're last slot, if we're Street Fighter slot, RIP. My prediction doesn't work. If we're last slot, it's the worst slot because East Coast has a hard time watching.
Doesn't Europe have a hard time too?
Europe has a hard time, and I don't think Asia even has a great time. So it's just trash, right? The best time to be is either 12 or 2. I think 2 is the best, and then 12 is the next best. The reason why 2 is a little bit better than 12 is, though 12 is technically better in terms of time zones, there's less ramp leading into 12. So, 2 has like a few extra hours of broadcast that help ramp it into it. And so 2 is the best time slot. So if we get 2, let's say, what if we get 2 and then it's DBZ, then Street Fighter, for example?
Dude,
right?
Being the DBZ waiting room would be like incredible for us.
Godlike, being great, it'd be great, right? So if it goes Melee, DBZ, Street Fighter, then I think we hit 230 easy. I think so. Now, if we're at 12, it moves our number down a little bit, and I'd expect us to be the Tekken waiting room, and then it's DBZ, but it's still not that bad. So it's not so bad. If we're like the earlier times than that, then yeah, we're suffering because we have like no ramp to go into us. So that would hurt. And I really hope we're actually not the one before Street Fighter. What is that, like the 6 p.m. slot? The one right before Street Fighter.
That'd be the Dragon Ball slot, right? Presumably.
I hope that goes to Dragon Ball and we get 2. I really hope we get 2 because I want 2.
2 would be godlike. I've still
two is the dream. 2 is the dream.
I'm gonna go with slightly under. It's not to say like I think Melee's gonna hit 200K. I think 230K is where it's a little bit of a stretch for me. I still think 200K is incredible for us, but I think I'm gonna go with under on this.
Yeah, people are saying it's gonna be Guilty Gear, Tekken, Melee, DBFC, SF5. It could be. That would be an amazing lineup for us. For us personally, that is optimal. That's like amazing. You go from Tekken, a pretty highly watched game, and you're sandwiched with Tekken and DBZ, and there's Street Fighter players waiting. I think Street Fighter players are gonna watch the first DBZ Evo. So I think you get like a ton of cross pollination there, and it's amazing for time zones. So obviously, if they announce that's the order, we're extraordinarily happy.
I agree.
If they announce we're at 8 a.m. or whatever the hell the first time slot is, we are not.
Oh man! So we're banking on.
Yeah, if we're the first time slot, I think we're talking about 130, 140K. It's like a big difference.
I mean, Saturday was a huge difference for us, right?
Yeah, first time slot is pretty equivalent to Saturday because the Sunday gets its power from a ramp, right? So.
Okay, so this one's an interesting one. If you were to look at doubles, because I want to bring a doubles one in here. If you're to create an all-time list for best doubles teams ever, Muta King, Hungrybox, or Mango Lucky? This one's going to have to go down the memory banks a little bit.
Oh, geez, this is a hard one. So Muta King, Hungrybox, we love giving them crap, but they had a little era. They genuinely did. We love to talk about how they have no synergy. We like to talk about how they broke up, all this stuff. It definitely doesn't feel like they're an iconic team. The truth is, Mango Lucky is an iconic team, and the brand equity of Muta King Hungrybox is not very good. But in terms of results, in terms of accomplishments, I'm gonna go with Mango Lucky anyway. Because I just was not impressed by the Mutating H-Box run. I think they did well. Like
So
they
do
did
they?
well. A lot of people weren't entering doubles. Like the tournaments they won, it wasn't that impressive to me, with some exceptions. I'm just gonna
But
pick. I'm just gonna pick Mango Lucky because Mango Lucky beat Ken Isaiah.
that was when
And
Ken and Isaiah were like 1 foot out the door by then.
it's still Ken Isaiah, dude.
Though that the 1v2 on from Lucky was very impressive.
You know what? Stream, call it West Coast on me. Call it SoCal bias. But you'll never see me on the same street as a Music King H-Box fan. That team had no soul.
I mean, there was a stretch. I think a lot of people who weren't here in the 2009 post brawl era, like literally Mango and Lucky, like pretty much won like everything. That like every big tournament where Mango and Lucky entered, they pretty much won. Like from like 2008 to like 2010.
I'll admit my answer was heavily biased. Algebra, you are correct, but I'm going to stand by that bias because it's a better worldview for me to live in.
I think Mewtwo King Hungry Box was in a tougher era. They won a lot of events, and like they were so dominant that they were dominant in their own right. That I'm gonna have to. I think that the issue with Mango Lucky is that in the era where they were primed and they could have easily won events, like they didn't team, and so I thought the potential for Mango Lucky's like resume was a lot higher. Like, but they didn't enter as much events as I like, so that's why I put like my Mewtwo King and Hungry Box.
I actually disagree with one thing you said, that Mewtwo King H-Box were in a harder era. Teams pretty poppin' in the Mango Lucky time, with many different teams, and I think that the tension we saw in teams in the last like 2 years isn't the tension we saw in teams which which H-Box and Mewtwo King were doing well, and once a lot of the other top players really put a ton of focus into doubles, Mewtwo King H-Box actually like withered away, and I think that says a lot about their legacy.
Yeah, I think right now even
And
like,
literally they turned into, holy crap, we literally can't team with each other because we're getting bodied like out of existence.
I think if you put both those teams in right now,
I think it was actually quite a weak era for doubles, regardless of entrant counts or whatever, and regardless of the general state of Smash. I think they were winning in a weaker spot than actually Mango and Lucky were.
I can accept that. Mango and Lucky actually, if they entered today, I believe they would do better on average than Mewtwo King and Hungry Box if they both entered and played seriously. But I just wish Mango and Lucky like entered more. I feel like we saw a lot of wasted potential over the years of what we could have seen Mango and Lucky do as a team. Which is
I'd love to see them team again. I know Mango won't do it, but I actually think it's still a legendary team.
So those are our thoughts. Another legacy question. I originally wrote this as like an indiscriminate period of time, but like on an all-time list, who do we say will end better, Mango or Lucky, or Mango or Hungry Box? If we're to go a undisclosed period of time up ahead, like long enough. Like I just put 2025. Like who has a better all-time legacy when we flash forward to like 7 to 10 years in the future? In Melee career.
You go first. I feel like I've been going first every time.
So for now, I think we both agree that Mango has a better resume. Like I think his dominating streak of firsts and just his overall legacy is still better than Hungry Box's. But right now, if we're to kind of extrapolate forward, Hungry Box is number one right now. He's been ranked higher last year. He's probably gonna, if things play out, would be ranked higher than Mango this year. And moving forward, Hungry Box can carry that momentum for a few more years. So let's say if Hungry Box like goes, let's say 2018 to 2020 to 2021 even, and Hungry Box outperforms Mango and gets first in a couple of those years, then it kind of brings the question like Hungry Box's legacy is probably better than Mango's, right? If we do
Okay, first of all, you're extrapolating a lot, to be fair. But I don't think it'll take until 2021 for him to catch up. I think that's an absurd statement. Hungrybox isn't so far away that it will take him 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021 to catch up to Mango. Like, no. He's not.
What if Hungrybox won 2018 and 2019?
Dog, I think a lot of people are going to be ranking HBox above Mango if HBox gets ranked 1 again this year.
Oh, I definitely don't think at this point that if Hungrybox were to get number 1 this year, that he outweighs Mango. But like, if he goes 3 years in a row,
I actually agree with you on that. But I think that some people would.
Yeah.
I think HBox legacy is pretty strong. But I think if he wins 2018 and 2019, of course HBoxes would be higher than Mango. It would be no contest at that point.
So, I mean, the funny thing is that you know, if we looked at the all-time list, it was like Armada, Mango, and then Ken and Hungrybox are kind of in contention now. Like, even if you go like 2 years back, Hungrybox was a clear 5th behind Mewtwo King, right? But now he's creeping up the ranks, like debatably 3rd, debatably 4th. Mango's number 2 is not as solid as we once thought.
Yeah, no, for sure. Truth is that he's been hanging around this spot for a long time. I think, you know, he's adding to his legacy with these past few years. Like, sure, it's not, you know, he's not best in the world, but being top 5 is pretty good.
What does it take for him?
So it's additive, but yeah.
What does it take for Hungrybox to beat Ken? If he hasn't already.
I think this year, being number 1, he overtakes Ken. Next year, being number 1, he overtakes Mango.
And
then it takes like maybe half a year for him to overtake Armada. At that point,
yeah.
Like, right, like he is not that far away from being GOAT. But he is significantly far away. I mean, that's still like 2 years, right?
Yeah, and
like
he has to get number 1, and that's not exactly like a walk in the park either.
Yeah, at number 1, right? Like, and who knows? Maybe Plup will be number 1. And you know what? Maybe Mango will be number 1, right? If you're doing your job, Tafo. What are you getting paid for, Tafo? All right, well, come on.
I'm doing everything in my power to get him a passport and to get his taxes done from 2016.
That's why he's not an EGLX, right? He doesn't have a passport?
Yeah.
Aren't you his manager?
I can't get him to fill out a form if he doesn't want to do it.
I got Mango to fill out a form yesterday.
Dude, I literally fill out all of Mango's forms if I can do it.
You can't fill out government forms. Don't do that.
That's
fraud.
That's fraud. I can't do that, man. There's a line. I know everything about Mango. I know his birth date. I know where he was born. I know his social security number. I know his signature. I know his body part sizes. I could literally commit fraud on Mango in every way possible if I wanted to.
I'm not going to start thinking about what body parts you're talking about there. But I also like to think that, you know, Tefo, this job you have right here is like a fantastic way to lead into identity theft. Is this just like your grand scheme? Like, you know, Mango's gonna mysteriously retire, turn into a streamer, and all of a sudden, on his stream is gonna be Tafo with like makeup, or we're gonna see like VR AR Tafo with like an animated Mango with, you know, Tafo using a voice modifier.
Yeah,
it can happen.
Dude, all those like sports agents that screw over their athletes.
That's Tim Duncan. His agent screwed him over and he had to sue him.
Yeah.
I would hate to live in a world where Tafo and Mango get a rift, but if it happens, it's going to be over body part sizes.
So what's our conclusion here? I think so we have to talk about like influence, and in terms of like what we value as legacy are two different things. I think Mango as an influencer in the Melee scene is always going to outweigh Hungrybox. I don't see a world where Mango loses in that regards, but in terms
I totally see a world.
You do?
Not now, obviously, but
I can't even see it. Like many things.
If Hungrybox is number 1 in the world, and Melee and Smash grow even more than it is now, and turns into a tier 1 esport, being number 1 in the world is going to outweigh even Mango's influence.
So we can see worlds where this happens, but the likelihood of it happening doesn't seem very high for me.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So like I guess like I just think that like down the road, like I think Mango's gonna slowly settle down into like being like a retired player / commentator / Twitch streamer that if Hungrybox like plays for like 4 years after Mango stops.
By the way, I don't believe in that bullcrap. Mango's been talking to me about retiring since like 2010. Like, he's playing for another 5 years, maybe more.
Do you think Hungrybox plays longer than Mango though?
I think they both play like well into their 30s. Is my opinion. As long as Melee stays alive,
Okay.
I think they're like, I think we have a greater chance of the TOs not hosting tournaments anymore than those guys quitting.
All right. So I'm going to actually go with Hungrybox on this in terms of just player like results by 2025.
So you think HBox is going to have a greater legacy than Mango when it's all said and done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when it's easy to say now because HBox is doing well now. There's also a chance. Now keep in mind, Mango doesn't necessarily have to outperform HBox for HBox not to catch up with him. Like, let's say in a world where Plup becomes the best in the world, like all these new school guys, Zane becomes the next guy, Axe starts doing better, like all these people happen. Maybe, who knows, the King returns, Mewtwo becomes the best. All these other people get better. And HBox drifts down into being a top 5 player again, and he's not number 1 anymore, right?
Yeah.
HBox can go years just being top 5, while Mango is, let's say, 6th or 7th, and he won't catch up to Mango. You know what I'm saying?
He has to win these years.
He literally has to be number 1. And so for Mango, like, he doesn't necessarily have to beat HBox. Plup can do it for him, and he'll still hold on to his lead.
It's kind of the same reason why we can't, no matter how long we can put on longevity for Mewtwo King, like we can't put him over Ken until he wins years, right? That's always going to be the ceiling for Mewtwo King.
Well, once you're at that top, like, high of the all-time list, it's about being the best in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. I value longevity more the more I go down the list. But like at the tippy top level, being the best in the world is a big deal because those guys are usually so good that being top 5 is like, just natural to them. Like they almost all have extended period of times where they were top 5 at some point, for years and years. That's like a given. Longevity seems to be a given for most of the top 4 or 5. Less so, how long were they top 1?
Okay.
How long were they the best in the world?
So we have a more modern one. Hugo or Duck? Who do you pick? Just for like right now as player skill. So to recap, Duck did decently well at both the Holiday Bash and at Pat's house.
That's last year.
That's last year. Well, I'm just trying to bring in relevant information here.
I think, as someone who's routinely came on the show and made fun of Hugo and pumped up Duck, it's about goddamn time I pick Gumi-Zumi. Gumi-Zumi, have you seen this YouTube channel? He has all the tech. These guys suck. This guy knows how to short hop fastball missile. He's got the Gumi-Zumi dash, or with the Gumi go Zumi. He's got that going on. I think, one day he'll get better than 129th at Evo. And with all that combined, he's the future of Samus. I'm actually not interested in Hugo and Duck. They're washed up. It's all about is the Gumi era now.
It's the Gumi-Zumi.
Yeah, so serious answer to that question is Plup. And then second answer to that question is recency bias Hugo.
Recency bias Hugo. I think Duck is pretty content with cooking food and hanging out with his new lady. That
Duck cannot handle the woman. Like, handle the woman sounds very sexist. Sorry about that. That's
significant other.
Yeah, I what I mean by that is his performance dropped drastically often. This man doesn't even know how to balance things. Anyway, Johns or not, he was on top of it right now. He's on top of the world.
Yeah, and he's one of the few players that actually didn't go through a esports team curse.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually got better.
Yeah.
Bottom line is he 3-0 Duck, and you can look at last year's results. You could look at Pat South and how amazing Duck did, and be like, maybe you find that more impressive than anything Hugo's done since, and you'd probably be right. And you could also look at Holiday Bash and realize that Hugo got absolutely ruffle stomped, and Duck did it. But hey, man, that was 4 months ago. So we're gonna pick Hugo. I'm gonna pick Hugo.
Has it already been 4 months?
It's just been like 4 months.
Man. Oh my gosh, how time flies.
Time flies when you have no tournaments. So we'll pick Hugo. I'll pick Hugo. What about you, Tefo?
I think the more I think about it, this is actually a way easier decision than I originally thought. It's definitely Hugo.
Oh my God. What a world we live in. And I'll say this. Nothing is more motivating to Duck than being told he's worse than Hugo. So in so many ways, we're doing this out of love.
Yeah. It's like have you ever taken a controls class in engineering? Like a robotic controls.
Oh yeah.
It's like the control system is like, people think that like Duck reacts to the perception of how good Hugo is relative to him, and it catches up like 2 weeks later. Oh, Duck is better than me. Skill goes up. Oh, everyone thinks I'm better than Hugo again. Bam.
So pride is the key. Duck is fueled by pride, and Hugo, I don't even know what drives Hugo anymore. That guy's, you gotta give him some credit, man. Old man's putting in work. He's giving us older players some faith. Shouts to him. I know he doesn't like when people talk about his age. It's kind of ageist when you think about it. But he's been playing the game for a long time, and to go out there every day and put his heart in it and still have work ethic and be out working some of these younger guys, it's impressive. It's the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
It's kind of a sad world though, where the same success in bracket is whether or not they faced a top tier Sheik or Falcon early. Hopefully they get to do it this year. We saw the Falcons do it over Sheik last year. Maybe Samus will find some magic against Sheik and Falcon this year.
The weird thing is that Sheik doesn't feel as bad as Falcon.
Dude, Falcon, like, I just said, Samus doesn't live long against Falcon. It seems so bad.
Indeed it does. That is not a good matchup.
All right. I kind of want to do the last one next week. I totally forgot that EGLX was next week, or EGLX was this upcoming weekend, and Full Bloom was next weekend after that. So we'll save the last one, but there was an interesting one brought on the stream. It's not quite Melee related, but Dragon Ball or Street Fighter 5 for more entrants at EVO.
Is that a joke?
We're both saying Dragon Ball, right?
Dragon Ball free!
Yeah. Okay, does Dragon Ball 1.5x Street Fighter 5?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree with you. That's actually very... Does Dragon Ball double Street Fighter?
Do we outdo Street Fighter? I'm going to say no on that one. I don't think we do.
I don't think we do. That's
guys, I think everyone's entering DBZ. Literally all the Smashers will, all the Street Fighter people will. I think everyone's entering DBZ. I don't think we pass Street Fighter. I think we're going to be third. We're going to be third, fourth. I expect Wii Melee to be third,
Does
fourth.
Dragon Ball beat this all-time record by Street Fighter that one year where they got 5K?
No. 5K will never happen again. At least not until... I mean, some crazy snap would have to happen. But 5K was insane.
Well, if they yeah.
I think DBZ is getting like 2,500 3K, something like that. And I think that's. I don't think we can touch that. I think Street Fighter is probably getting like 1,500. And then the two Smash games are going to be floating around
2,000.
I don't think we're bringing Street Fighter, so I think we're getting 1,200-ish.
You don't think Melee's going to get like 1,800?
What did we get last year?
I think we got about 1,800 last year.
Did we get 1,800?
Yeah. Our peak was like 23.
We got 1800 last year.
I think we had like 1828 if I remember correctly.
We got 1828 people. That's
Let me
amazing.
double check. Oh no, we didn't. 1428. I'm totally off.
Yeah, I 1828 was like the year before, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mixing up my years, man.
I'm a little worried that Evo being kind of for us because the Saturday slot last year is going to reverberate to this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I'm probably underestimating. Though I kind of want to hold my Street Fighter number because Street Fighter being more than 1500 seems. I mean, they're going to get a lot of Dragon Ball cross registrants, so maybe I'm wrong.
I think that Dragon Ball is going to boost all the games.
Yeah, you're right. So okay, so 3500 for DBZ. Let's just put Street Fighter at 2100 and Melee at 1600, and then Wii U at. Is Wii U gonna outperform Melee this year with the new game coming out?
It depends on how they market it. They could say this is the last year, like your last chance at Evo. On the flip side,
But it's also got the Saturday slot.
yeah, and like I think the other Wii U only events cater to them better. So like if there's a bunch of other summer events, I think that hurts Evo a lot because the appeal is you get to watch it in Mandalay Bay, right? Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 1400 for Wii U.
So this is like the first year that Melee outperforms.
Wii U, yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing is though, the Wii U gets cross registers. I think DBZ people might enter Wii U. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's always hard to call. One thing I'm sure of is the order is going to be 1 DBZ, 2 Street Fighter, and then 3, 4 the 2 Smash games in some order. I think that's gonna be that.
I think that's a really. I don't see a world where that's not true.
It's more about scaling. Like, what if we're like by some percentage off about DBZ, and that moves everyone else's numbers down? Because DBZ is a pretty big wild card because it's a new game, and so that would move things down. But I think the order is going to be that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it for this edition of This or That. We'll have more, and if you guys have suggestions, go ahead and tweet at us before, and we'll accumulate the 5 best curated This or That questions. And I guess this kind of sets us up for Q&A. It's already 9:46 though.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, let me log in. I saw some things pop up. Oh, okay, we have 10 questions.
Sweet. Guys, if you don't know, askfm/TaffleKids.
And yes, we did steal it from League. We've intentionally said that we stole it from League. We advertised that it was a League of Legends thing.
Yeah, but we do it better. Actually, we don't. We have no production value behind it. But we...
The heart of the content is better.
Yeah, there's Melee there. So, we got
Okay.
that going on.
What are these dumb questions?
Oh, are they that bad, Taffo?
What should I do if the vehicle won't turn on again after I turn it off and the butterfly stays? That's not even a Melee question. What are these questions?
You sound like my Twitter mentions right now.
Last
I
time,
get stuff like that. I get random stuff like that all the time. Like, hey, Blur, I'm like, what?
so last time you and Blur talked about players who were close to the lower gods but fell off hard. You conclude that Chu was a really good example recently. What about Wobbles? How close would you say that Wobbles was circa 2013 and 2014?
To what, sorry?
To godhood, but like fell off really hard.
I don't think he was that close. I really don't think he was that close. Do you?
The only issue I really had with that era, so I think that Wobbles had a pretty good summer stretch. Like he, I believe, got second at Kings of Cali right before that Evo, where he also got second. I think the unfortunate reality was that during that stretch, we didn't have as many tournaments. So, like, what opportunity was there for Wobbles to really prove himself the following, like, 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, I think he
had like a solid like 3 or 4 tournaments that were really really good, which is not that different from Chew in its own way. But I think the difference is that, like, okay, maybe he was close.
I think SSBM Rank didn't really have a really good questionnaire, like thought experiment, because we didn't really have that many tournaments, and so we kind of had to go on perception and eye test mostly. But you know, if we were to look back at it, I think Wobbles fairly got. I hate using the word robbed because that's his name, but he did get robbed hardcore on that year for SSBM Rank, considering how little tournaments there were, and he got second at Evo. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he got ranked like 10th, right?
He got 8th behind Hacks and Shroomed, and like Hacks literally didn't do much that year.
Yeah, that was actually a robbery.
Yeah. Shroomed was debatable, but like Wobbles like had like, I think if you looked at strictly results, but then again there were only like 4 like national level tournaments that year too. But Wobbles was right behind Hungrybox, right, that year. And yeah, so I think he was pretty close. But it's like, I guess the question boils down to, was Chew closer or was Wobbles closer? Like Chew after DreamHack Austin, you know, and after this Smash Rivalries performance and all the other stuff he did.
I think Chew had more events, so it felt like, oh snap, like it was pretty consistent, right?
Yeah. In alternate universe, if Wobbles won that tournament, then yeah, like I think, what would you have thought if Wobbles beat Mango in Grand Finals that year?
That would have been still sick, in its own way. I know, obviously.
Like, what would that done? What would that have done to like Wobbles' legacy?
What would that done to Mango's legacy? That's like Mango's like one of his crown jewel wins.
It's one of those big what ifs of Melee. So like, would Wobbles would not have been 8th this year. In fact, he should have been 6th. Would that have put him above Hungrybox that year?
Maybe. All right. So next question.
Anyway, Smash 5 has wave dashing, L canceling, and tons of advanced tech. Will Melee survive?
It won't have any of those things, so I don't like talking about hypotheticals.
Okay, I agree with you. It's kind of silly. How do we feel about the Warriors right now? They're coasting and they're gonna win.
I think the NBA is is extraordinarily boring right now. Warriors are gonna win. We knew this from the beginning of the season, and this is all a lot of a song and dance as we wait for them to win.
All right, Arslan, you didn't put a noun or a proper noun here, so I can't answer your question. How high into the top 100 do you think he'll get this year? I hear he's aiming to be top 10 or 20 this year. I have no idea who you're talking about, so ignore it. Do you think tourneys will be running Melee, Smash 4, and Smash 5 at all at events, or will 4 drop off?
4 is going to drop off.
Yeah, I just think that like Brawl, most Brawl players move to Smash 4. I just think that, well, what if Smash 5 ended up blowing?
Then they'll host Smash 4 again after 6 months.
Okay.
And maybe they wonon't. Honestly, I think even if Smash 5 ends up blowing, they're going to play Smash 5.
Yeah.
But again, if it's a port, then 100% Smash 4 just literally never comes back. It won't even come as a side event, really.
Yeah. And like a lot of people, like I hate putting them on blast. I seem like a lot of people loathe playing Smash 4, even the top players. So I feel like they would just move on.
I think even if 5 is a worse game or bad game, they're going to pay 5.
Are you?
Like, it would have to be quite bad. It'd have to, it'd have to be the worst Smash game of all time, and it actually have to be worse than that. I think if it was Brawl, they'd play that.
It's probably gonna get some support from the whole esports Nintendo thing. Like I just can't see a world where Smash 5 is not promoted for at least like 2 years.
So maybe Wii U version has some side events, but yeah, they're just gonna move on. Literally, they're saying it. It's already a given. That's how their community works. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how their community works.
And that's how most esports operate anyway.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the sparkling water?
What? No, I hate sparkling water.
Okay. That was a question. Could HBox, Leffen, and PP ever surpass Mango in viewers and subs? I hate these could questions because that says like in the realm of possibilities.
The answer is obviously yes. Mango only has 5K subs. Ninja has like 120K or whatever the fuck.
Like, I know 5K is still a shit ton, but of course they could.
They could, but is it likely? That's why I hate
In the realm of Twitch in general, there are a lot of streamers with more subs than Mango, and so of course it's possible. And there's a lot of streamers who are less personable than Mango. If that's what the argument is, those guys are just less personable than Mango, and so they can't do it. There's a lot of streamers who are significantly less personable than Mango that have way more subs than he does.
PPMD could get a lot of viewership initially, but I don't know like how much energy he has to sustain streaming consistently as Mango does.
Yeah, so my answer is, of course they could, and they already have pretty good fan bases. And I mean, Leffen right now has massive viewership with DBZ. Keeps it up for a while, of course he could.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of Leffen subs don't even know he plays Melee.
So
what do we think about Smash GG apps? It would be a convenient thing for Smash attendees and spectators to have.
Smash GG what?
Like, I guess like phone app.
I mean, it'd be dope.
I mean, I think there's many things that would be nice, right?
Yeah, here's a list. I tell this to the Smash GG people literally all the time. I'm actually so tired of talking about it because it hasn't happened that I just don't tell them anymore, if I'm being honest. A list of amazing stuff that they could do is a mobile app because their mobile version is not that good. Localization, so people in other countries can host events more easily. Automated reporting, so TOs don't have to input in every result. It would just work like online tournaments on their platform do. Players input their own results with automated reporting. Those are my first killer 3. There's obviously player profiles is my last killer 1, killer 4, let's call it, where you can actually get statistics about players. You click someone's name and you get their match history and their match results.
Oh, Tapostats has that.
It's been 3 years and we don't have any of those things.
Tapostats
maybe we'll get those things one day. But that's the dream. The dream is we get those 4 things and Smash is in a really good spot. But whatever.
Tapostats has that.
Tafelstat, the EU rankings website has that. The SSBM EU, whatever the heck it is, the little ranking. That's all. This Brawl had that. So it would be nice if Smash GG had that.
It would. I totally agree with you, man. Let's see.
The site with actually all the data in its brackets. Just having that would be big.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next question. Okay, so I kind of knew we were going to run into this type of question. Possibility of a Smash circuit with Smash 5 and also Melee being on it.
Can't answer that question because honestly, I have no idea.
Okay. That'd be kind of cool. I would say that Nintendo is probably going to be a lot more experimental now that they've been 4 years into esports.
The better question is Melee included in any capacity there? So how much does it matter? I don't know. For the Melee scene, a lot of people watching the show.
Okay. Do you ever consider the lack of retention engagement with older, retired, washed-up players? Do you think there are lessons to be learned from recreational leagues of sports that could improve past their peak and new player retention? Could Melee ever use a $40 for 8 weeks of entry format? I guess I kind of like, you know how in like a softball league they have like they have leagues, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why like events like in sports, right? You buy like a season pass effectively, which is like a what do they call it? It's like when you buy a seat in for like your team for the season. Season tickets. There's a reason why they do that, because subscription models are a more consistent source of revenue than promote an event, and then event ends, and then promote the next event ends, promote the next event. Like, it's just exhausting to work like that. And so, yeah, season tickets is a far more consistent way of doing that. And it would be much better for Smash if that was the method. So
Yeah.
Trouble is most TOs don't have a consistent enough event schedule to really do that, and so it hasn't really been a thing.
Um, so the guy ended up putting a name and said, so I guess how high into the top 100 do you think Captain Jack will get this year?
How high into the top 100? I
Um,
don't think he'll get into the top 100.
um, let's see. I did watch a little bit of him on the Scar and Toph stream. I think he has a giant mountain to climb, and we're already um, 3 months into the year. And to me, he needs to improve in so many ways and refine so many things. I just don't see it happening in 2018.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, according to Algebra, he went 1 and 2 at a NorCal local.
Yeah, so I don't think it's happening this year. Might happen next year.
Might.
It's too soon. Too soon. Too soon.
Let's see. Okay, so yeah, next year, of course, but like 1.5 years is a long time, and I think like most players that are in like the top 250 level, if they work their asses off, could hit the top 100 if they really worked at it. So for this year, I don't think it's happening. Do you think the Switch will support GameCube controllers?
It does already with the Wii U adapter. So it does already. All right, next question.
This is literally becoming a meme. People are spamming me like with the how high will Captain Jack make it into the rankings?
I think can it be the same person? Can't the same person just do a bunch of Ask FM posts?
No, they're different numbers.
Okay, people are just okay. All right, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. This is a coordinated effort.
Top 10 predictions for the summer.
That's a big 10 is too many. I don't want to do that.
5,
5 is too many.
3,
3 is too many.
2,
2 is too many.
1. All right. Do you think?
I think prediction for the summer. I think one of the August events is going to lose out. I think it won't be SmashCon. So the SmashCon, Airshine, and Evo back to back to back, right?
Yeah.
It might be Shine. I think one of those events is gonna naturally decline because of that saturation. So yeah, I think Air just doesn't have the same audience, so I can't imagine it'll be that effective. Like the Europeans are still going to go, right?
Yeah.
Though I think if it wasn't in August, Air would actually have all the Americans come because of how many people talk about how good Air is. But just because it's surrounded by those 3 events, I think the Americans aren't going to go this year. In its own way, it's gonna get fucked because it should be bigger than it is.
Attorneys getting fucked.
Yeah, I think because Melee's on Sunday, it won't be Evo. I think SmashCon gets just a lot of casual people, so it's
Dude,
good.
they get like amazing marketing on that Virginia, Maryland scene.
Yeah, and so I highly doubt it would be SmashCon just because it's a different type of event. Air, I think will get its European people, but because of that saturation, I think it's going to really struggle getting the American pros. And I think Shine just feels like the odd one out, especially since it's last, right? Where people are just going to be tired after the first 3.
Yeah,
so that's a depressing prediction.
It's unfortunate, man.
But
do you think Leffen will ever become number 1? In 2015, his rise and separation from the rest of the gods seemed unstoppable. After his return, it feels like he plateaued in the rank 3 to 5 range.
I
don't know. That guy enjoys Dragon Ball way too much right now.
I currently do not think he'll be number one this year. It's very possible he never gets there. It's very, very possible he never gets there.
And I hate the could question. I always wish that people could always say
Obviously he could, but obviously he's so good. He's like top 4 player, right? So obviously he could, but is he on pace to? If we were betting on it, would we bet on him becoming best in the world at one point versus not? I think at this point I would actually bet against him, not bet for him.
Yeah. I think the other thing is it's like a lot of people are like, I always say, like, if you believe and you're like criticizing us for saying like he has no chance and you firmly believe it, then if you believe it so much, put the money where your mouth is. And like, because I feel like, and this is kind of me ranting, like a lot of people, like, because if enough people make enough predictions, like chances are some people are going to be right, and they're going to be like, oh, I told you so, I was totally right, I called this many years ago, and they don't ever mention like the countless predictions that they get wrong. So if you are firmly in the Leffen is going to do it this year, you should bet money on people, so that when you go down the road and you go like, I told you so, Blur and Tapu are idiots, like
Devil's advocating gambling, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, he could, but if you had to bet your life on it, at this moment, I would not expect him to do it in his career. At this moment, I could see a world where this is his peak, and almost like a Mewtwo King sense, where he hits like God level status, but never hits best in the world status.
But I guess in likelihood of it happening, I think he's ahead of Mewtwo King, but behind, like, roughly even with like Armada, Plup, and Mango right now, and then Hungry Box the favorite. But still, you're splitting it 5 ways, right? And splitting, like, let's say they're all equal, right? A 5-way split means you only have a 20% chance.
And they're not all equal.
They aren't.
Yeah. And then there's also the variable of X new player, right? Like, it's not like those are the only people that could ever become best in the world, right? They can, in 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah, like right
One
now,
year, it could be someone else. It could be freaking Wizzy. It could be someone who's we're not even talking about right now. His window might only be these next 2 years, and then some other guy comes up who's godlike, and then he just never has a chance again. For example, right?
Yeah, I'd gladly take Orion Sox as a 5-1 bet on Leffen being number 1. Like that, he won't get number 1.
So basically, I think it's more improbable than probable, but I think it's totally probable.
It is probable.
Like it is
just not very likely.
Just not very likely.
But speaking of probabilities in Leffen, what are our thoughts on him getting to the Summit of Power?
Have they confirmed who's going yet?
I mean, like, even if he doesn't go, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to have 6 slots open, right?
He's gonna get invited. I think
he's one of the biggest streamers for the game too. I would be very surprised if he didn't.
Yeah. Then again, they might just invite people based on tournament results, because there's going to be a ton of tournaments between now and.
Well, how does Summit make the moolah then? They're going to have a compendium
by putting him on the compendium and getting all his fans to vote him in.
Exactly.
So they'd rather have him on the compendium than have him as an invite. To be honest. So.
Is Maximilian a commentator, or does he like come in as a player? Because I imagine that Maximilian would automatically get in.
He's a commentator.
Okay.
Like he's like a personality more so than like a tournament competitor.
Okay, so that makes sense. Let's see. What are the other questions? We have a few more, and then I'm probably gonna call it a night because.
Yeah, this has been a long show. Let's wrap it up soon.
Who will get the first 3 vote?
So what's the list right now?
Ken won. Armada. Let's see. Armada won 2015 and 2017. So Armada has 2. Mango has 2. Hungrybox has 1. So it's pretty much Mango has 2. Armada has 2. Hungrybox has 1, and everybody else has 0.
I say odds are on Armada. Because I think it's more likely Armada wins 1 than HBox wins 2.
Yeah.
And it's far more likely to me that HBox wins 2 than Mango wins 1 right now.
I'm gonna say Mango.
You think Mango winning 1 is more likely than HBox winning 2?
I think Mango wins it this year.
All right. Point is that I think the answer is Armada. Armada's the most likely. He's at 2 already, and he's still a top 3 player in the world, last I checked, guaranteed. So you got to pick Armada.
Alrighty. Does this logic work? If Jigglypuff only loses to Fox at the top 10 level, does it make her number 2 on the tier list? No.
All right. Well, I disagree with the assumption. So Jigglypuff doesn't only lose to Fox. Marth destroys Puff. You heard it here first. You heard it here last. I think Falcon is all right, too.
I think at worst, like, Falco's 50-50 at worst.
I love Falco in that matchup.
Yeah. So we both agree on worst case.
I like, basically there's tons of times where I become a Puff believer where I'm like, oh, she has all these properties that are like amazing, and then I like look at the matchups and I'm like, dude, she doesn't win. There's no way.
What about Falcon?
Falcon is like, it's like a timeout matchup. They shouldn't really touch each other. Right? Like Falcon's too fast for Puff to really catch.
I feel like that's like the 64 matchup.
Yeah, it's weird. I want to say Puff wins, but it's not by much.
Dude, Gatsu had a pretty good run against Hungrybox the other week. I'm not sure if you got to tune into that.
I mean, the people playing against HBox, the Falcons, are just worse players. So it's not really an even comparison usually.
Yeah, but like Gatsu did pretty well.
So I mean, obviously Puff beats Sheik, and I think Puff does. I mean, Puff beats Peach and does well-ish against Ices, and so not a bad matchup spread, but I don't think there's a world. I don't, in my current Melee opinion. Now, obviously she's a very good character. A lot of ways you can break it down. I don't think she's the best in the game, and I don't see a solid argument for it really.
That's fair.
So, you'd have to assume that she beats everyone but Fox, and then you have to assume Fox loses to Marth to balance it out or something. And you probably need Fox to lose to someone else who like Falco or something to really even out. So you'd have to have a lot going on in your Melee opinion to put Puff at 1.
Is Game & Watch a viable counterpick against Puff?
Dude, next question.
All right. What's our top 3 character tier list on a human level?
Marth, Fox, Falco.
I say Fox, Marth, Sheik.
Okay.
What would it take to make a TO in a box kit for all the mediocre locals in the world?
It would take them reading the TO in the box kit. Honestly, there's been tons of articles over 15 years and videos and whatever about TOing, and how many new TOs read that crap? I don't think they do. Now you can make a super refined, concise product and maybe that'll perform better. But again, in my experience, mentorship is like the best way to build a great TO. And so for the most part, hand holding them and then building leaders within the community, which then can pass the torch, has been the most effective method that I've seen.
Oh damn! I feel sorry for your side note. I feel so bad for your Spurs right now.
Yeah, didn't have to bring that up, but it's a pretty bad season.
They kind of blew lead.
I wasn't watching the game, Taffel, but thanks for the spoiler.
So at one point,
are we getting bodied right now?
No, you guys lost by 3 to the Warriors. At one point, the Spurs were up 103-96 with 4 minutes ago.
Jeez.
And then they lost 110 to 107.
I hate the Warriors. I hate NorCal. Oh my god.
Steph,
How can anyone want them to win? Even if you're a Warriors fan for life.
Steph Curry got injured again though.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, his ankles, man, are paper mache.
That sucks.
All right. Let's see. We got 4 more questions, and I think these will be like the last ones. Oh, yeah. Actually, last question, and we'll take a good question from the stream chat. Will Zayn be the best Marth by the end of the year, overtaking Mewtwo King? Gut answer tells me no, but I guess in terms of how close will the arguments be? Okay, next tier Marths though. Does he jump Kevin and La Luna?
He's already jumped Kevin. In singles.
And by Kevin we mean PPU.
And he's pretty close to jumping Moon, but not that close, honestly.
If we were to seed a tournament, is he ahead of Moon? Like, not to say like his years.
No, not yet. I don't think so.
Even after like.
Yes, even after.
Genesis in the one tournament where he finished second behind an H-Box?
Pat's house, you mean?
No, the other tournament. The second at that one tournament.
Oh, the NFA 2.
NFA 2, and he also got 9th at he got 9th at Genesis.
Yeah, you maybe make a compelling point.
I actually want to look at La Luna. Like, I still have a bad taste in my mouth in regards to the Holy Bash.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I mean, La Luna did decent at. He lost to Hugo at that No Funds Allowed tournament. 13th at Genesis, 11th at Holy Bash. Like, I feel like it's so close.
So the answer to the question is he has to first become indisputably the best Marth, like main, first before it becomes, considered better than Mewtwo King.
Okay. Oh wait, no, Zayn got 13th at Genesis. Might be.
Yeah.
Man, like, I think I would seed Zayn over La Luna right now.
Would you?
Yeah. I think, in fact, that the one tournament that are both upcoming, like, Zayn is seated higher than La Luna.
I guess because of, like, super recent results, I would too. Now that I think about it, because NFA and I could see Genesis. Super recent results, I can see it. But obviously last year, I mean, Moon was ranked higher, right?
Yeah. Zayn kind of was, like, on the upswing last year where he went from, oh, I beat Plup at Big House to, oh, crap, you're actually accumulating wins on everybody.
So I think, I can see him being seated higher right now. He has a long way to go to catch up with Mewtwo King. Yeah. Now, Mewtwo King is trash with Marth in, frankly, most matchups in this video game.
Like, I guess if you made Mewtwo King play Marth in all matchups, like, how would it pan out? Because he often plays Sheik and...
If you had to go Marth against like the random ICs, he'd lose to them.
And
he would lose to Bananas. He would lose to Fork. He would lose to Taffles ICs.
I think I know just enough to wave dash out of shield and grab.
Yeah, you can wave dash out of shield, grab, forward smash on shield. So, like, or his Marth versus Puff. Like, literally, anyone's tertiary Puff. Anyone in this chat's tertiary Puff could beat Mewtwo King's Marth.
I had an interesting thought experiment. So Zayn most recently beat Duck, like, in Marth Samus, and, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that Zayn will win every time, but, like, is Mewtwo King's, like, Marth, would Mewtwo King's Marth destroy Duck? Like, I don't know. I think that'd be really close.
I think it'd be close. So basically, like, he has certain matchups with his Marth which are just, like comical for a player of his skill. And then there are a list of them which at one point he knew because he used to be a full solo Marth main. And he's like kind of tries to rely on that old knowledge and like remember the matchup again. And then those matchups like Samus, for example, he's decent at, like pretty good at. And then there's the matchups which he's like godlike at, obviously. So Mewtwo King is a mixed bag.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like if Sheik didn't exist, he would learn the matchups, right? We don't know, like, the potential of, because like the fact that you mentioned, like, he hasn't studied or prepped for those matchups. He usually just goes Sheik, and abuse his mobility and Sheik to win a lot of those other matchups.
Yeah, but he could. Like, I think in a month, like literally, he would be decent at a lot of them, and then in like 6 months, he'd be good at some of them.
Yeah, like God, I really do believe that if Mutaking didn't get into his head against Ice Climbers, like he could do the matchup. He beat Wobbles at that one tournament really bad.
Michigi needs 2 things to become best in the world. It's actually quite simple. Number 1, he needs to go all Marth. Number 2, he needs to donate 2/3 of his salary to the Crimson Blur and bring him on as a coach. The only 2 things he needs. Other than that, I don't see a path for him to ever become best in the world.
But he'll always be like a top 5 threat and occasionally like do well.
Yeah, so pretty good. But there's only 2 ways really.
He's gonna have that yearly tournament in like November where everybody's written him off and said like, dude, Meat King's washed up, and then he comes in November or October and wins does really well at a random tournament, and then that's enough faith for Meat King Nation to believe in him.
Yeah, so he'll keep stringing this along. That's for sure.
All right, we'll take one good question from the stream chat and call it a night.
Okay, one more, guys, and then we're calling it a night. I think it was a great show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, we're here every Thursday, so check us out. We're gonna do one last one.
This or that, Taffo or Blair. I'm gonna pick the Blair.
I'm gonna pick Taffo. This is love right now.
Oh, it's like when they did the. Dude, did those videos ever come out? By the way, at NorCal Loves Teams.
Which videos?
You know how they interviewed each of the teams, and like they said like, and then we had to like, it was like what's that old like school like 80s game show where like they ask us a question and we write it on a whiteboard of like what we think the other player will say.
When did we do that?
They did it for the teams, like because they floated out all the 16 players. They had us like do like video.
At what tournament?
NorCal Loves Teams at Dropbox last year.
I don't remember doing that.
You didn't do that because you weren't floated, but like they pulled us aside and made videos, and like those videos never came out.
Oh,
the Newlywed Game. That's what it's called.
I think it'd be fun to play that with each other.
I think we should.
I don't know who'd win. I think we know roughly about as much about each other.
Okay. Well, the Newlywed Game is a competition between us and other couples to see which couples know each other the best.
Oh, so we'd have to bring a significant other in.
We should do melee couples, man. We should have a game show with like 4 teams and just make it like invitational for those 4 teams.
That'd be pretty fun.
Who would the 4 teams be?
Pew Fat, Ice 11 for the old school, Mango Lucky.
Armada Android's cheating, right? Because they're brothers.
They're literally brothers.
So we're gonna do Armada Muti King.
Maybe Armada Muti King. There's also like some other like connections you could do. You do HBox Crunch. You could do
Slocks in Swedish.
Mango Lucky. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
You could do
Shroomed and Allen.
Shroomed and Allen, that's a good one.
DJ and La Luna.
Yeah.
Chew and Chillin'.
Yeah. Asin and Chillin'.
Shroomed and SCJ.
Less so, but yeah. So yeah, that could be cool.
All right, we're gonna do that next year.
Got it. All right, so let's wrap it up.
All right. Thanks for watching. We're gonna put this on YouTube. So usually, if you just missed out or you're checking us now, and you have a boring Friday or you have a long road trip, well, we're uploading it right away. So thanks for tuning in. And of course, if you have an interesting this or that suggestion for next episode, let us know on Twitter. And we're tuning out.
Absolutely. We had a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for tuning in.